Hey everyone, you're listening to the official podcast of 4playernetwork.com. Check us out at that address for everything you need to know about our community, monthly giveaways, and nightly live streams. You can even support us on Patreon at patreon.com/4player. And last but not least, you can catch the live recordings of these podcasts every single Thursday night on our Twitch channel. We hope to see you there. Enjoy.
Podcast. I got some sinning to do.
Oh, did I hit record in time to hear that? Oh man, that's fucking funny. Everybody ready?
Yeah.
It is 9:45.
It is not 9:45. It is 8:28. And hello, welcome to 4Player Podcast, episode 503. It is actually 8:28 p.m. Brad, we are not that late. Okay, maybe a little bit.
Tiny bit.
Kind of.
If this was a job interview, we wouldn't get the job.
Correct. My name is Nick Henderson. I am your host this evening, and of course, as always, I'm joined by Brad Simons.
You.
Nolan Hedstrom.
How's it going, everybody?
Christopher Guthridge.
Hello.
We're here to talk about video games. Before we do that, I want to briefly mention a couple things. One, if you have not yet, please take a moment to leave us a review on iTunes. We'd really appreciate it. And on a slightly related note, I did want to mention, some of y'all may have noticed, we're trying something new. We've switched to a different podcast hosting platform called Blog Talk Radio. We're trying that out, see how it works, see if we like it. We're going to be doing that for at least the foreseeable future, see how we like it. But essentially, the reason we're doing that is because it gives us some added distribution options and the ability to a more in-depth look at some of the analytics and the kind of information we need to know to help us grow the show. So,
I once went to Nick and I was like, how many people download our podcast? And he was like, I have no fucking idea.
I have no idea. But now we do, which is cool. So yeah, we're going to be trying that out and see how it works. So if you have any thoughts on that, please let us know. But in the meantime, like I said, if you have not yet, please leave us a review on iTunes. We'd love it. It helps us get on that the podcast ranking charts, which we haven't really been pimping that a lot lately. What?
No, I mean, I'm sure we could still make it on there.
Of course we could. We used to be up there.
Gotta make something happen.
We used to be up there with Giant Bomb like every week.
Yeah.
Yeah. We were pushing that like every episode, and then we just kind of trailed off and didn't do it. So now I'm trying to get back in the habit of doing that. So yeah, if you could just take a moment to leave us a review on iTunes, that'd be great. Really appreciate it. But if you want to look for us on Blog Talk Radio, it's blogtalkradio.com/4playerpodcast. But before we're going to talk about some stuff today, some new stuff. We're going to talk about Little Nightmares. Crispy's played some Prey just earlier today, so he'll tell us about his initial thoughts on that.
I won't.
And then are you playing?
So why don't you stay?
Lay by the bay, eat some hay.
I give up.
That didn't rhyme, Nick. You're
I
horrible.
know. I'm sorry. I got nothing.
The game's over.
But before we do that, of course, I want to open the show up with some feedback from our last episode. Last week, we talked about Outlast 2. We talked about Guardians of the Galaxy, among other things. So, feedback. Of course, we do a monthly giveaway, guys, by the way. So, if anybody out there wants to participate in the giveaway, we'll give you any game that if you draw your name out of a hat, we will give you any game you'd like, up to a $60 value. In fact, I just ended up gifting the game for last month's winner the other day. You know what he chose?
What?
He chose Final Fantasy XIV Online.
What?
Yeah, for PS4.
Crazy.
Heaven's Word? Or?
Mr. Greentoast was our winner for April.
Oh.
So,
he doesn't think that we're covering his subscription, does he?
No. But which we're not. I hope we're clear on that.
He played Drawn to Death with me for like one day, and he was like,
"Can't game the system."
I'm out. I'm gonna go play Persona." And he never came back. He never came back.
Mr. Greentoast.
Motherfucker.
Anyways, he was our winner for our giveaway last month. And of course, all you have to do to enter said giveaway is when you listen to our show, if you want to chime in on a conversation, we'd love you to participate. Just leave us a comment, your thoughts on some of the games we're talking about and the conversations we had, whatever it be. Leave a comment on the post for this episode at 4playernetwork.com, and we will open the show the following week with...
Motherfucker.
What?
We can't buy people MMOs. They're not going to consume our awesome stuff anymore. They're just going to play the fucking
Well,
MMO.
actually, he mentioned that he wanted to get that because it was a good game he could just kind of veg out to while he was listening to our show.
Lies.
Look what Slade said. He's not in chat.
Lies.
Why is he not in chat? I bet I know exactly what he's doing.
Somebody find him and drag him back
Drag
here.
him back here.
What have I done?
What have you done?
What have we done?
Oh, wow. He wants a
collectively?
copy of World of Warcraft.
I think I would maybe draw the line there.
10 years too late.
The point is, just leave a comment on for the episode, or you can retweet our show when we post the podcast every week on Twitter. That's another way. Or if you have a longer opinion or something you want to chime in on, we do accept article submissions on our site at fullplayrnetwork.com. You can submit that, and even if we don't post it, which we should post most of them, but if for whatever reason we don't, we'll still enter in the drawing for submitting one. But anyways, let's see some of the feedback from our last episode.
Ooh.
I'm going to start with Tobly.
Tobly.
Tobly says, actually, should I start with Tobly? Yes, Tobly. Let's see. When Telltale was being discussed, there was talk about how they don't need the star power of big voice acting names they have hired before. I believe that Telltale hires big names for their acting ability. Voice actors are unlikely to garner much attention unless it's someone who is a bit out of left field, like Peter Dinklage in Destiny. On another note, I wish Telltale was more careful with reusing voice actors. Having Laura Bailey as Catwoman was a bit jarring after she had starred as a lead in Tales from the Borderlands.
But come on, Laura Bailey's Laura Bailey.
Yeah, I think she has a
pretty prominent.
decent range, kind of,
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
What was that anime she did that one time? It was the boat. Never mind. What else we got?
Anime where she...
Brad realized that he was actually talking about a hentai.
I was like, moving on.
I've tried. I don't get it.
It's called hentai and it's art.
And it's art. Gonzo Lude says, to add an opinion on voice acting in game. That was a popular topic last week.
Yeah.
I honestly don't mind if a game like Persona does not have 100% voice acting in all of its scenes. Sometimes just reading the text while imagining how that character would say it with their voice in my head can be just as invigorating as if it were voiced. They could also work for games with no voice acting for that matter, because I can imagine how a particular character would sound like based on their physical or psychological characteristics.
And then you imagine them sounding like Gilbert Gottfried.
Only you, Nolan. That
Makes a little bit of Paul Rubens.
But that requires you to have an imagination. That just sounds lame. I think honestly for me, I think that it should be one or the other. Mm-hmm. It's just weird when they switch back and forth.
No voice or all voice?
Yeah, like it's like you expect something to be. I think with specific characters. Mm-hmm. Like if it's a main character delivering dialogue, it doesn't really make much sense for it to be voiced completely in one scene and then text the next. But like, I wouldn't expect every single game to have fully voiced like NPCs and shit that can get out of hand real fast.
I think when it comes to like foreign games being localized,
yeah,
it. Not that I don't love voice acting, but like the quality of the writing seems to go up a little bit when there is no voice acting, because they don't have to match like the same like voice beats.
Yeah.
Like a lot of like dubbed anime, dubbed video games, like English like that. Like the dialogue especially just gets like all fucking out of whack because they're trying to say something, but they're trying to do it like in about as many syllables as that line was in Japanese.
Yeah.
And it doesn't always
for
work
some
out.
awkward
And
moments.
it makes the whole thing just sound like really dumb. So like sometimes I kind of like when I was playing Yakuza, I could definitely tell not Yakuza, I'm sorry, Persona 5.
Yeah.
Like some of the scenes where there was a voice, the dialogue was like, okay, fine, that's serviceable. And then when they got out of that and they were just doing like text, it for some reason just felt a little more natural.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
No, it's not. I mean, I've noticed that myself, and I've always thought about that too when I'm like watching.
Yakuza actually has
that's being translated. I'm like,
really
how do they
great
match the mouth, like the mouth movements and whatnot. Like there's that stress to like we got to try and get it as close as possible, and I would imagine that
match
kinda
up to the
limits you.
animation. Yakuza
Writing
localization and Yakuza 0 is actually really good though. So
I will play.
Laura Bailey was in an episode of Walker, Texas Ranger.
Really?
Okay.
Roberta.
well, there you go.
Oh, good old Roberta.
There you go.
Our next bit of feedback comes from Haste. Says, first of all, can't wait for the next D&D session. We'll talk. We'll talk a little bit about that on this episode. Also, I agree that the reveal of those Marvel vs. Capcom characters felt rather weak. While the new gym mechanics seem interesting, it's hard to ignore the lack of new characters we've seen so far. An interesting thought from the Super Desperation Radio podcast is that if the devs go balls deep into Marvel's cinematic universe aesthetic, we're going to see some rather drab and muted-looking heroes, at least from the Marvel side. I'm just hoping Sentinel, at least, isn't either broken tier or
X-Men,
sucked tier.
And there's rumors that no X-Men.
No X-Men at all in a Marvel?
And plus, they got Ultron, and he's kind of like your Sentinel replacement.
No,
a lot of
for
his
sure.
abilities seem to be summon little Ultrons.
Dude, I mean, I don't know. There might be a whole thing with the whole X-Men Fox movie rights, but even beyond that, Marvel is positioning to just kind of do away with mutants. Like they're really jockeying the Inhumans to be their replacement because they still own that 100%.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but
Can I play as Hugh Jackman?
no, please don't. Please just
You can only play as Gene Hackman.
just let it go. Gene Hackman. I would play as Gene Hackman
Lord.
in a fucking heartbeat, though.
Laura Bailey was the voice of Trunks.
Yeah, I knew that.
What? Really?
Yeah, I knew
Kid
that.
Trunks?
Little kid Trunks.
Yeah, Little Trunks, yeah.
And Dende. too.
Little Trunks.
Dende.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Tende was the worst.
Jesus.
Everybody hates Dende. All right. Next comes...
He's the Namekian Krillin.
That's absolutely true.
Alien
Cobra says, I used to play Minecraft like many people have. Hell, once in a blue moon, I fired up again and experienced the amazing new additions made to the game since I last played it. Well, amazing if you've never used mods. Anyways, I digress. When I play Minecraft, I like to play on hardcore mode, which gives it the roguelike quality of once you die, you have to start over. I feel like with some tweaks, Minecraft could be a pretty cool roguelike. Man,
No one.
I have to try and guess punctuation when I'm reading these sometimes.
Who wants more roguelikes, though?
Not me. Like Chris Davis messaged me in Discord because that's a place where everyone can come and chat about video
It
games.
is.
Discord.
And he was like, "Hey, Nolan, check out this new roguelike game." And I was like, "Stop it! I don't need another roguelike.
Yeah.
There's too many.
Which one was it?
I don't even. I didn't look. He's like, "Hey, Nolan, check out this roguelike." I was like, "No, I will not."
That's how things like Rogue Legacy happen, and then
Called Abandoned Ship. Oh yeah, it was like
Abandoned
roguelike FTL meets
Black Flag.
Black Flag like ship combat. That's what he said.
There was another FTL like roguelike that people were Convoy.
Convoy.
Yeah. It's like Mad Max
I'm so
FTL.
over roguelikes.
well, it helps when you just don't get into them in the first place, like me.
Yeah.
Our last bit of feedback comes from Drew. Says, "I hear you, Brad. Though Tales of the Berseria has way more voice acting than Persona, I'm guessing the Tales budget and other facets of the game is not so hot. Persona 4, it seems like all the main story dialogue was voiced, so it definitely throws me off a bit when there's main story in Persona 5 that is not voiced, which is kind of like what I was mentioning a second ago. But the takeaway there is that it's
Substantial difference. I mean, it's obviously a different art style, and there's not as much like flash to like the UI and stuff. But I mean, I bet Persona has a much bigger budget than a Tales game, which is what I find surprising that there is.
I understand where you're coming from, Brad, but I still don't think you understand how much dialogue is in Persona 5. And if they were to have voiced it all, that would be like 30, 40 gigs of audio.
I mean,
That'd be like a ridiculous amount of audio. For
I
a
say
game.
that
Not to mention the people you have
because
to hire.
of how much is in Berseria, which is a ridiculous amount. They never stop talking, and that game, I played it for 70 hours. It's not a short game. Like it is a significant like difference, like a significant drop in the amount of voice acting. Like I'm not saying every single line, but there are what is it called? What are they called in this one? The social links.
Confidant.
Confidence. What?
There are social links that aren't voiced. Like I feel like even in Persona 4 that stuff was always voiced.
Fox never talked.
Sure, but like I feel like that is important shit that at the very least should be voiced.
I agree with you.
I think at the beginning of any game development project, it's always just a matter of sitting down and deciding where the priorities lie, and the fact of the matter might just be that in this particular game, there are like certain things take precedence over voice acting, and that was just kind
part
of
of presentation. It just makes it seem like
but you can't always do every single thing the way you would do it ideally. Like you have to account for development time, you have to account for resources, money, all that kind of stuff. So
I know, but I'm saying they turn on a Tales game like
I know, but like
once
that's a
every-
completely different situation. Like that project has a completely different set of variables going into it.
Sure.
It's just
I mean, I agree. I mean, I completely understand. I'm just saying.
From a consumer standpoint, it's disappointing.
Exactly.
But it also means you need to get a person in a booth and recording studio time, and there's a lot goes into it. So I can understand some of it not being voiced.
All right, that is Mountain Pimp subscribed. I don't normally call out people who subscribe while we're recording a podcast, but his name is Mountain Pimp, so I figured I would.
That was a good one.
That's a pretty good one. I figured I'd say that one. Thank you for subscribing, Mountain Pimp. Anyways, let's jump in to games, because there are some games to discuss this week. And so Krispy's going to talk a little bit about Prey in a few minutes, and he's going to even play some more Prey.
Why in a few minutes?
Well, I kind of want to open with the actual, because I want to open with Little Nightmares, because that's a full, that. Technically, Prey isn't out yet.
It's out.
Is it?
It's out
in Europe.
Maybe it's not out.
Well,
it's out in about an hour.
Oh.
Or 2 or 3.
Well, the point is,
GameStop's going to sell in 17 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Fuck it. Let's talk about Prey.
No, I'm just saying.
Well, to be fair, I mean, the first hour demo
is out there.
Yeah,
so.
which I haven't really.
But we haven't really talked about that on the podcast. So
can we just talk about a game, please?
Little Nightmares.
Little Nightmares. And I've actually played a little bit.
Change the card. Change it.
Big Nightmares, am I right?
Yeah.
I don't know. You've played more of it than I have at this point.
I finished it.
Damn
it was only 3 hours long.
I know. I told you I was going to finish it, and I failed.
At least you finished Edith Finch, which was only 2 hours.
No, I did not. I didn't even start that. Shut the fuck up, Brad. I didn't even finish Outlast. Come on.
Little Nightmares.
Little Nightmares.
It's a Limbo-like.
Yes.
It's an inside-like.
In fact, I was really surprised. I have played about 30 to 40 minutes of this game. Mm-hmm. And I've seen, obviously I've seen footage of it, but until I got my hands on it, I was kind of surprised by just how much this game kind of feels like Limbo or Inside or.
Yeah, I mean, it is that type of game. It is what would you call it? A side-scrolling walking simulator.
Yeah,
there's puzzles.
That's fair.
That's true.
Yeah, there are puzzle elements. You're pushing and pulling things.
It's a little bit of platforming.
It doesn't really give you much of a tutorial at all. In fact, there's only a couple contextual prompts that you need, but it doesn't really tell you many of them.
Yeah, but it's not just in Limbo because it kind of plays like that, or Inside because it plays like that type of game. But it's obviously, not just tone. I mean, there is no there's no talking.
There's nothing. There's no pop-up text boxes.
It is a completely visual form of visual storytelling.
Yes,
which is probably how it's most
trial and error. It's one of those games where early on there's a lot of trial and error, but not too long afterwards you don't really need to try. You everything just kind of comes to you. You kind of start to understand what's going on
because it's all built around some very, very simple mechanics.
Yeah.
So and then everything else is just. Layers of story on top of that, which is great. I think the character actually controls and feels really, really good in this game. Because really, it's just my favorite thing in the game is definitely the slide, which is cool.
Yeah, she can slide on her.
So you can build momentum and run, and then press the crouch button and then she'll slide across the ground, which you can use to slide under doors as they're closing or into little vents and whatnot, which is a cool feeling. But outside of that, you're pushing stuff around, trying to climb on things.
It's not quite as deadly as Limbo or Inside, where everything's trying to kill you at all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot of some light puzzle solving, some navigation, kind of soaking in the atmosphere, and there are creatures that are actively trying to kill you.
So let's talk about that. I've only played about 40 minutes of it so far. I came across one thing that was very obviously kind of like a creature.
Yeah.
But very early on in this game, it's kind of like mood building. Mm-hmm. And I'm not really sure how you finished it, so I don't really know how. Does it amp up from there, or is the first one a pretty good indicator of its pace throughout the game? Or
well, I mean, you definitely have stretches where it's just kind of navigating, doing some puzzle solving. But yeah, once a certain point in the game starts, each chapter kind of focuses around something that is maybe trying to kill you or get you.
It's gonna get you.
The big nightmares, if you will. I guess you're the little nightmare.
Yeah. By the way, you play a little girl in a raincoat.
Is she a girl? You don't really know.
Yeah, I guess you don't really know. I don't know why I assumed, but
I assumed
you can't really see her face.
You can't really see the raincoat wearing person's face.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, you never see the face, or
the genitalia.
Oh,
Well, I mean,
Oh, God.
but Nolan, that doesn't necessarily. Let's move on.
I see where you're going. So you've played more of it. Tell me, what did you think? You finished it.
Oh no! I mean, it's cool. I mean, honestly, I think Inside is like a masterpiece. Honestly,
I agree.
This isn't quite that, but it is a game that like has a fucking look. This game looks incredible, I think, and it has like a really.
You know what it reminds me of? Like a Tim Burton.
Oh, is that someone like hanging?
I thought so too, but I think
Those are
it's
just
a pair of
pants. But there is actually a room
Yeah,
that I've
early
walked
on.
into, and you see legs hanging from the ceiling, like someone hung themselves. And it's all very subtle, like because like you'll go from room to room, and like nothing. Some rooms like nothing happens, and there's nothing overtly creepy about them. It's just the atmosphere is creepy. But then you come into like a room, and it doesn't say anything. There's no like really change in music, but there's like you can see out of the corner of the top of the screen, there's just legs dangling, like someone's hanging there, and you're like, okay, that's weird. I guess this is all what I've gathered so far is this, this is kind of a dream sequence of the character, I would imagine, or a nightmare. So it's kind of has this like surreal vibe to it the entire time you're playing.
Yeah, I mean, I guess there are points where it's just more explicitly kind of horror of these things, kind of just chasing you around. But like I feel like there's quite a bit of tension there, and those things seem horrific, especially towards the end of the game. Some really horrific shit happens.
Oh, wonderful! I can't wait.
But it's like a 3-hour nice game with a cool atmosphere that you just kind of got to play.
That's what it reminds me. I've been trying to like in my head trying to figure out what this game is reminding me of, and it's not like one for one or anything, but just like tonally and because of the art style, and it has this like slight. I don't want to say claymation, but there's a vibe to it a little bit. But
I think
it reminds me of Beetlejuice.
Yeah,
it reminds me a little bit of
Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice. Yeah, the movie.
There's a lot of that
I wish
creepy
they'd make a good
claymation in
Beetlejuice
Beetlejuice.
Ah, y'all said his name 3 times.
Oh shit!
Michael
Michael Keaton's gonna show up out of nowhere.
Hey, Crispy, are you gonna stop being bad at this game?
Dude, fuck you! You handed me the controller, said record footage, and I didn't know shit about what was going on.
He does.
Fuck you!
He did.
But I think I get it this time.
Yeah, you do. You died like twice on the top of the toilet seat.
And then I jumped down. And then I jumped down there.
I didn't think this was an Elvis
And
simulator.
I grabbed
So,
the key.
one
Some really cool visuals.
Yeah,
and
it's got a great visual style.
atmosphere.
Does it have music? I got the physical edition, and it came with the soundtrack. I haven't listened to it yet.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I was like playing the game. I was like,
Oh.
is there even a soundtrack in this game?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
I
I don't know what's on that CD. Oh, by
Is
the
it
way,
an invisible sound?
the physical disc also came with like a little figure of the girl in the little raincoat, which is kind of cool.
Very cool.
Yeah.
But I mean, man, what is to be said about this game? Really, it's not like as challenging as something like Inside or whatever. It's just it is what it is, and I think it does a pretty good job at doing that. And I don't want to spoil some of the stuff that happens. It's not long enough of a game, and it's all that experience.
Yeah,
But you come across some pretty interesting.
it's
Monsters.
definitely.
There's not many. It's not very long,
Well,
but it's towards the end. It gets so fucked up in some ways.
What's up, Crispy?
would you generally recommend?
Oh yeah, for sure. Obviously not as strongly as something like Inside.
If you'd like to
but
borrow my disc,
if you like a game like Inside, you probably be feel absolutely fine playing something like this.
I'd be happy to lend you my copy after I finish it,
Yeah.
if you'd
Your
like.
physical edition.
My physical copy.
Your physical disc.
Honestly, I think it's kind of a joy. It's a joy to play. I recommend it to anyone.
It's definitely one of those games, and I felt the same way about Inside. But like it's one of those games where because it is going from left to right, so you're for the most part you're going through different rooms. But every time you go into a room, there's kind of that feeling of like, ooh, like what is different about this room? The sense of discovery when you go from one room to the next is pretty cool because you never know what you're going to be doing from room to room. Also, one thing I was surprised about because I was under the impression this was straightforward, like left to right platformer, but like there is you can go forward and backwards towards the screen.
2.5.
Yeah.
No, I mean this is like straight up 3 dimensions.
3 dimension, but
Like,
like it's
the
presented.
camera
It's
is-
presented in a
yeah.
2D
Yeah.
format, but you can move 3 dimensions throughout all the environments, which is
I guess the cameras
cool.
are always on like some fourth wall.
Yeah, and the camera
That's
always
not
kind of
there.
like shifts and like moves, kind of like I don't know.
It almost seems like you're in a
weird.
dollhouse, and the
Diorama.
camera,
Yeah,
like a diorama, like the camera's on the outside looking in.
Yeah, if you were to pull the camera back and look at the whole world, it would probably look a lot like a dollhouse.
Like a really fucked up doll.
like a
Kind of
real
like a Little Big
fucked
Planet
up-
level.
Yeah,
But no, but that actually has
with
like
more
rows.
fucked up
yeah.
shit.
Oh, I like the environments. You know, I feel like they could have gotten real surreal. Like you know, I feel like you know those other games do, but this is all just kind of like creepy, dark places in like houses and stuff, and something about that feels really creepy to me. That's always the scariest environment for me.
There was a room that I played during this footage where I was like wading through a giant pile of shoes. And for some reason that imagery really creeped me the fuck out.
Yeah, it's got great imagery and
Were
like
they all like just left shoes?
No, it was
Just
I don't know, maybe they were. There was something moving through the pile chasing me, but that wasn't the creepy part. I don't know, like the whole like industrial room just filled with shoes just kind of looked like I don't know, like a Holocaust documentary or something. Like it was fucked up.
evokes
like,
some pretty crazy.
Yeah, it was fucked.
Evokes some dark shit. It's a dark game, but it's cool, and it's not like overtly scary. So like I don't think there's
It's
anything
not.
to stop
It's
this game.
not a really scary game.
Yeah. It's not like Outlast that I was playing last week and then I was like I need to broadcast tonight, but I can't. I'm not going to play Outlast because I literally don't think my heart can take it right now. Like it's definitely not that kind of game. It's just creepy, which is cool. Unfortunately we're kind of moving away from the game, but this is where the creepy shit in the footage actually starts to happen, but
Oh, it gets.
It's a good time to cut
it gets
away.
Weird. Yeah.
yeah, this is almost spoilerific, so it's not a bad idea to cut it.
No, wait. Let's get this one.
Oh, you cut it off.
No, come back.
Yeah, it's gone.
Boo, Chris
It would
Davis.
have left them wanting more because.
Well, she
But
went-
now the mystery is there.
Yeah.
Now they
Nothing
don't even
happened.
know.
She went
Nothing-
into a cage and then
a
and then
long,
something happens.
stretchy arm reached
Nothing
down and closed it,
to
and
peek.
that is a good way to entice people to actually try the game.
That is true.
Because it just looked like a bunch of walking around, to be honest.
Yeah.
All right, Crispy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you played some Prey today,
Yeah.
and you're going to play some more Prey. Right?
I am.
after the show, right?
Yeah.
So stay tuned for that. So a few weeks ago, if you saw, we went to a Prey preview event here in Austin. There's a video up on YouTube.
What'd you call it? A preview?
A preview.
A pray per
And during that preview event, I played the first like 20 minutes, but then they kind of fast forwarded us to like 3 or 4 hours into the game.
Those
So I haven't
fuckers.
seen much of that opening hour, and I know that there's a demo out there. But what did you think? This is your first time playing it, so what did you think of Prey? I had kind of an interesting conversation with you while you were recording this.
Yeah, we were. Well, I was trying. Sorry, I moved the mic.
Did you
I was
appreciate what the game
Did I appreciate?
God damn, this is gonna be full of just Prey.
Yes,
jokes?
I did appreciate what they were going for. It's fuck. I really wanted to start playing this game earlier in the day so that I'd have more to talk about, but as is, I don't think I've cleared the 1 hour demo.
Yeah.
So if you've played that, you might know more than I do. But you know what? Let's give it a try. Let's see what happens. My opinions so far. I'm very intrigued by what's going on. The game hasn't told me really anything yet, but they've already started like seeding clues, and you know, I'm trying to pull from every genre film and sci-fi story I can think of and just try to guess what the twist is gonna be. Which, you know what, I've decided is a bad habit. I need to cut that out. I need to cut that out. But the game is very intent on fucking with you, kind of twisting you up a little bit. So I'm gonna say some spoilery stuff that happens in the first hour.
Okay.
If you don't want to hear that, don't listen.
What is the creepiest thing? Pray tell.
Pray tell.
God damn it. You didn't even care about asking that actual question.
Right,
you just wanted
had
to get that out.
I already said pray to
Commit to the
When?
earlier.
You guys hash this out. I'm gonna talk about Prey.
Oh, okay.
So the game begins, as we've all seen by now, the game begins with Morgan, the main character.
Morgan,
be it male or female Morgan.
What'd you pick?
I went with male because I flipped a coin.
Well,
Sounds like a sexist coin.
so Dexter.
You know, I
Oh,
can't
going with
help it.
Deborah.
Can't help it. Morgan wakes up in my case, his apartment before his first day of work at TransStar. Gets ready, reads a bunch of books, drinks a whole bottle of wine, and then goes to work. Because that's what I did.
That's what you did.
That's what I did.
I was like, I don't remember doing that. Oh yeah.
I get a helicopter and I fly to work, and you're met by a man named Alex Yu, who you quickly find out is your older brother, and he's all like, hey, Morgan, we're going to do some tests. Don't worry. It'll be fine. Just do what comes natural. And they throw you in a bunch of these rooms, and they want you to do different things, and it, for the most part, a lot of it is like kind of control.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I'm just realizing a joke or something. Anyway, okay, I'll get to it. Hang on. I'm just realizing something.
Oh, it's
that
happening
happened.
in real time.
No, so like they'll do different rooms, like they'll put you in one room and they'll be like, okay, jump over this wall and hit the button, do it as quick as you can, or like, hey, move all these boxes out of the circle, do it as quick as you can, right? So you have to do all those. It's just basically teaching you the controls of the game. One of them is we want you to hide in this room as best you can, but it's just an open room, completely lit. There's a big glass wall in front of it. They can see you perfectly, and there's just a chair, and they're like, hide, just hide, you know?
So everybody does the same thing.
Yeah. So I did the only thing that makes any fucking sense, which
I
is
believe that's the
crouch down behind the chair. But then, like, the scientists are all going like, he's just hiding behind the chair. Like, they're like, I don't get it. And I just realized why I was laughing. I just realized it's probably because they were expecting him to, like, turn invisible or turn into the chair or something like that.
Yeah.
But he was just like, just like crouched down
They
behind the
seemed
chair.
disappointed.
Yeah,
by
they were
by
like,
your
that's
your
lame.
choice.
That's fucking lame. But anyway, while the test is going on, one of the scientists is drinking his coffee, and he sits down on the table, and then you see like I saw out of the corner of my eye, I didn't even register what was happening. This little like black wisp go like, whoosh, and I was like, what the fuck is that? And then next thing I know, the scientist is like holding his coffee cup. He's like, where's the coffee? And then the coffee cup turns into a monster and fucking murders him. And it was great. And I was like, what is happening? What is going on? Fantastic little twist there. I also would like to note, maybe I'm completely off base here, but at the time, the test I was taking when that whole coffee cup murder incident happened, the test I was taking was
Coffee Cup Murder would be a great band.
Yes, Shotgun. Was very reminiscent of the Voight Comp test from Blade Runner and Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, which is the test that they give to people to determine whether or not they're humans or replicants.
You see a turtle laying on its back in the hot sun.
Yes, it's all based on like timing and emotional response.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of the questions were kind of like that. Was like, you're being executed. How do you feel about that? And you're like, angry, sad, confused, you know?
I think
So I feel like
wouldn't be
that probably has
surprised at all.
something
I
to do
mean,
with
they
it.
had a list of influences on this game, and I wouldn't
For
be.
sure.
I don't remember everything that was on that list, but I
Man,
I
you know
wouldn't be
what was a
surprised if Blade Runner
huge
was one of
influence
them.
on this game?
What?
2 other games.
Oh, yeah. I know.
System Shock and BioShock.
Yeah.
Because that is absolutely what the fuck this is. This is like if you took System Shock, redesigned it, turned it into BioShock, and then took BioShock, redesigned it, and turned it back into System Shock. That's kind of what this game feels
With like a little
so
bit of
far.
Half-Life.
With a little bit of Half-Life. I mean, but it's got like the first-person shooter RPG. It's got like the full inventory. It's got the skills, your little neuromods that you collect, and everything has this like this weird futury Art Deco thing going on.
Yeah.
Which I guess is because this takes place in an alternate timeline. Like this takes place in a different reality where like. I guess like Kennedy hadn't been assassinated or anything. Like the world kind of evolved differently. It's kind of weird. So you get like these advanced supercomputers on a space station that still have like mahogany casings, like you know,
Yeah.
like weird stuff.
It's a cool. And honestly, it does also. This is an Arcane game.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it does. It is reminiscent of BioShock and System Shock and everything like you said, but there is also something about the environments that does remind me of Dishonored.
Yeah.
It's like
and especially the character design.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
the character design is straight up the exact same kind of like like stylized, non-photorealistic character design that they used in Dishonored.
Yeah. Which is cool. I've always been a big fan of Arcane's character design.
Oh, this part. I hate this part. Oh, why does he do that? Okay? So the way the neuromod works is it's like a fucking eyepiece that you have to like stick your eye up to, but there's these two needles that come out, stick into your eye, and I guess they reprogram your brain to give you more abilities, right? But there's a little button he hits that makes the needles eject out. So he's sitting there testing it out, you know, like shooting them in and out, and then he sticks them all the way out and then just like takes it the hard way, just like inserts them completely into his eye instead of just putting his eye up to the fucking thing and hitting the button, which I'm sure is the manufacturer recommended method for doing that. I'm sure it has to be.
He takes it the hard way.
He takes it the hard way, man. Like he just like fucking slides it through himself.
Slowest
like,
way
come
possible.
on.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Come on. Whew. What the fuck?
You know, it's funny. The needle thing is funny because there's also a certain aspect of this game that does kind of remind me of Dead Space. You know, I'm a big Dead Space fan. I'm sure a lot of that's probably just because it takes place on a space station.
And there's like horrible monsters that are killing.
Yeah, but there's
everybody.
also sequences I know later in the game where you're going to be like kind of out in
Turning into a mug.
space.
Yeah, turning into a mug. I can't wait to do that.
Is that what everyone's going to turn into? Just mugs everywhere?
I don't know.
I mean, that is the smallest object.
So are
that's
you
easiest
intrigued,
to
Crispy?
avoid
Are you
being
ready
hit.
for more?
I'm very intrigued, especially with the early game reveals. They do a couple like really cool
I'm fully prepared.
effects in the game.
I am fully
Like-
prepared for the story in this game.
Oh
to be,
yeah,
to
I'm
surprise
interested in it. Like
Yeah,
from
yeah.
the footage I've seen, you know, I was around when Crispy was playing and recording. Like, you know, the mimics are the first enemies you encounter, but they
tough.
aren't like what I was expecting. I was expecting, you'd walk in a room and a coffee mug would attack you, and then you'd fight it, and then you're done. But
But
no,
it never,
like the
like,
mimics,
it's just a
like
coffee
they'll,
mug.
they'll attack, but then they run away and they hide
Oh,
again.
yeah. They're-
And it's like it's fucking creepy because
They're
it's,
squirrely.
you usually don't encounter one, you encounter like a couple, and they're like dodging in and out and disguising themselves and then running back.
And that
like,
is
They
cool.
also keep the turn like the camera sensitivity set really low, so I was having a hard time like
Following
tracking them. So I had to bump up sensitivity. But yeah, they are quick and agile little fuckers to the point where like one of them will attack you, he'll run by you, and by the time you have a chance to turn around, he's already like turned into a garbage can or something.
Yeah.
But he's like sitting next to another garbage can, so you're like, you cheeky fucker. I know
Yeah.
this men's room only has one garbage can. I'm gonna fucking kill you. And then you do. But the way the enemies react so far seems kind of cool. But I am still in this like really early stage where a lot of this stuff might be scripted as fuck, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't know how it's gonna go. At the very end of my play session this afternoon, I did encounter a different type of mimic called a phantom, one that was like a full humanoid that could like shoot shit at you, and he killed me. Like
But he can also turn into shit.
I don't know. I didn't see him turn into shit, but he looks to be made of the same shit. So like maybe he can. I don't know.
You were unable to apprehend him.
Apprehend him.
Yeah.
Well, I was shooting to kill, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, for sure.
So here's my question for you, Crispy. I got some shit for this, Brad, specifically, and this still kind of holds true for me. But I definitely the appeal of these enemies is what you're talking about, like the ability that they have to run and hide and turn into things. That's
Oh,
cool.
this is the bathroom. You'll see some shit in here, I believe.
I love that.
What
Yeah.
shit?
My
Like, you already
problem
killed-
is-
you already
Like,
killed him.
Actual shit.
How do you feel about
Did
the
I?
actual way like these enemies look? Because I have a feeling it's gonna like they're like it's gonna be very. Like I'm worried that's kind of
They
it.
look like Venom, you know?
Yeah, a
they
little
look
bit.
like Venom.
Like Spider-
and it's just
Spider-Man
like,
Well,
Venom.
no, they look like the
It's
symbiote as
black
if it never
monster
took over
goo.
somebody.
Yeah.
oh my god, you fucking nerd.
I mean, like,
Yeah.
like Venom looks cool once he
No, he
he's been
doesn't.
taken
Looks
over.
more like Carnage.
Carnage
Look
was
like
red,
that.
you fuck.
Dude, the fucking... I don't want to get into a discussion of symbiotes because it's like one of the worst things that ever happened to Marvel. But... I think the enemies are like... Let's
not get into
it's
it.
terrible. I think the enemies so far are interesting. Whether or not... Like the real legs of this game are going to come from variety of enemies later on. Is it all just
That's
going to
what
be
I'm worried
Is it all just going to be different shaped black goo monsters?
Yes.
Or like are you going to start running into like more traditional kinds of enemies? Like
what?
I don't know. We'll see. I hope so. The mimics themselves, it's an interesting idea. Like it's a great idea. It's something.
I just don't want it to be the only idea.
You know what I want, Nick?
It's really fun. I'm sorry.
No, so I can continue.
Oh, I was just saying, it's a really fun idea that was kind of born in the RPG space, and I kind of like to see like the dungeon crawling, like exploration kind of games, like would make use of mimics as traps. Think of Dark Souls, right? That's probably the most famous video game example of that around.
Yeah.
But mimics is a Dungeons and Dragons idea,
Yeah.
and the whole idea was, you're crawling through a dungeon and there's a table. Is it just a table or is it gonna eat you? And that's kind of fun. But taking that idea and putting it in a completely different setting, like a Twitch-based shooter, and like having them use that ability to turn into mundane objects like at will. It's interesting.
Someone's never played Prop Hunt.
Well, I've played Prop Hunt, but in Prop Hunt, it's still just like hide and seek. It's still like everybody's like hiding as different things. It still doesn't have that like super deadly Twitch shooter aspect to it. You know what I mean?
But they're not all mimics, and as long as they like behave differently and do interesting things, and you interact with them in interesting ways, what does it matter? I mean, something like Dead Space doesn't have like a ton of variety in terms of the way they look. They're just
but like at a core level, I think
fleshy things.
But at the end of the day, and this is maybe just I may be a little biased because I'm a huge Dead Space fan, but I feel like the enemy design in Dead Space is visually way more interesting than the creatures.
A very different thing they're going for.
Well, yeah, of course, and I'm not.
That's why
I'm not trying to write it off here.
That's why I can't play Call of Duty games. They're all just people. It's boring.
I mean, you like the look of the monsters in Resident Evil 7,
but I also had, as much as I love Resident Evil 7, I got to the end of that game and I looked back on it and I'm if I had to lodge one complaint at Resident Evil 7, it would probably be the lack of enemy variety in that game.
Well, that's because there's like...
what would be
they may
cool,
not be, but like already I think this kind of has it. Already I think it has the leg up in that like the enemy itself is just really fascinating to see what it does.
Yeah.
Arcane's
a really creative studio, so I don't doubt that there's going to be some creative
So there's
shit.
a couple of things I was thinking. Like by the end of the game, one, it would be cool if like your wrench that you were beating stuff with the whole time turned out to be a mimic.
Yeah.
But that'd be kind of fucked up because it's like he's killing his friends.
No, for sure.
But then what happened is towards the end of the games, the mimics start getting more like complex and more detailed, and like some of the people you meet, like quest givers, are actually mimics.
Dude, I mean, like
that's the kind of shit.
Dude, I'm pretty sure Morgan's a mimic. I don't know, like everything's a mimic. The giant space station is a mimic that you're just like walking around inside of, and then it eats you.
I think the important thing here is they've come up with a pretty intriguing setup.
It's cool. I'm really into it. This is
supposed to be like a 40-hour game too.
Yeah, this is my bag. This right here is the hub, the Talos One.
And that's
lobby,
another thing, and I'm really excited to learn more about this, and I want to know, because one thing they've been talking about from the very beginning is that this game is supposed to be very open in terms of you can kind of go anywhere in the space station at any time, and you can even go outside of the space station. You can actually be in space at certain points, and like I want to know how much freedom they actually give you, or if they're actually kind of leading you down a path, like BioShock.
Well, so far,
BioShock you could.
So far, it seems pretty. It seems like they do want they have seeded enough things in the first area of the game to make me believe like, oh well, I'm definitely going to be back here much later.
Yeah.
Because like there are obviously like blocked off areas where it's like, oh, you need like a level 3 upgrade of something to even get in there.
Yeah.
So it seems like there is a lot of that like kind of backtracking exploration going on here, which is really exciting. I just haven't gotten to a point where I've gotten to really see any of that.
Yeah.
Muy bueno.
I'm sure next week when we talk about it, we will all have. Are we all planning on playing this before next week's episode?
Probably.
I will be.
Yeah. So I know I will be. So yeah, we'll talk more about this next week, and at that point, we'll be a significant amount into the game probably. So we'll have more. We'll have more to say about it. I just really hope this game has some. We've talked a little bit about how this game has a lot working against it in terms like I hope this game does well, but
I'm praying for success.
yes, I'm praying for God damn it.
Oh, there you go. I'm gonna die.
Oh, that's a great way to finish. But yeah, so we'll talk more about Prey next week. Hopefully it does well. I guess by this time next week we'll have a better idea of how well it's selling, or maybe the end of the month. We'll see. What other games we have to talk about? Does anyone else have anything new?
We played one more game.
Oh, sorry.
I know we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that, Crispy. Don't you worry. I just want video games.
I mean, nothing new, but
You guys, Sloan, you wanted to chime in about you've been
well, I mean,
playing
I've
more Persona?
I've been making my way through Persona 5. I've gotten a little bit farther. The game's changing a little bit. I mean, unfortunately, it is like a Persona game, and it's difficult to talk about a Persona game for an extended period of time. You know, the similar experience 20 hours in will probably be similar like 40, 50, 60 hours in.
Yeah.
But it has changed in that, you know, the way you kind of go after your targets in the game. I don't know if people know like exactly what's going on. You're a group of friends, the Phantom Thieves,
Yeah.
and you go after people who are like kind of bad, and you try and change their hearts.
Very bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, isn't
yeah.
that kind of like you would do that in Persona 4 too, right? Just in a different with different context. Like you're not,
No, not really. In
You're
Persona
rescuing
4,
people.
you're rescuing people who had gotten put into a bad situation.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
By a bad person. But this is like you're actually going after these bad people to make them less bad people.
Oh,
But
like
it's kind of interesting, like the way they handle it. Once again, I'm still just like completely awed by the aesthetics of the game. Just like it just looks fucking beautiful. Still loving the music.
Did you get that soundtrack?
No, I don't have the soundtrack.
You know, you know who I bet has the soundtrack? Chai Tai.
Probably Chai
I bet
Tai.
Chai Tai has
No,
the
I'm 100% sure he does. But yeah, so I was like looking into, because someone had mentioned buying something. There was like a costume set in the store, the PlayStation store. So I went to get it, and there's all these like personas that you can like DLC like pay for, and apparently they're like super OP. And I'm like, that's kind of like, I don't know.
Shady.
Yeah, it's like, oh, it's $3 and you get these two personas.
This is why I don't go into stores.
And so I don't even, like, my problem is I don't know what they do. Well, first of all, it's like, oh, you get this persona and this persona. I'm like, what does that even mean, though?
Fuse them together.
Oh, yeah.
Fuse your
You're supposed to
DLC
make decisions in
personas.
Persona purely based on how cool the personas look.
Yeah.
Nope.
Well, you know, it's
That's
based on
why
their
I
skills.
played with that fabulous pony forever, just because it was a fabulous pony.
I mean, as long as it's a fabulous pony with
pony.
good skills, I'm fine with that. But
Fuck
like
skills.
something new
It's
that
fabulous.
I introduced in my last PlayStation was you encounter this like piece of treasure.
Yeah.
And while you're thieving. And if you're able to catch it, you fight it, and it's like this weird shadow persona. And if you're able to like defeat it, you claim it as a persona, but you can't use it in battle. Like that's not its purpose. Its purpose is not to be fought with. Its purpose is to be fused, because it has, like the one I found had all of the first level Ma skills. So it had Mabufu, Maragi.
Were they like those little like teardrop
Magaru.
looking ones?
No, it wasn't a teardrop. Oh, yeah. Sorry, yeah. The
Little,
enemy looks kind of like Ghost.
Yeah.
He looks like a ghost, yeah. And so anytime you fuse it, you can pass on all of those skills. So you can make good personas early on with it. So it's like really in your advantage to catch them. Like the thing is, if you defeat them, you get like a shit ton of experience.
Yeah.
But if you capture a persona, you get like less experience. So you still get a some, but it's like I don't know what it is. I don't want to speak out of turn.
But you know you can use it later to get better.
But yeah,
personas,
if you
so.
register it, you can always pay for it, like buy it with money to get it again to fuse it with something else.
Yeah.
And I thought that was an interesting concept. I'm still. It just sucks because I'm like 20 something hours in. I don't know how many.
He's just getting started.
I know that's the thing. Is it's
Every
like
time I sit down to play this game, I'm like, what's the fucking point?
it just keeps going. But that's the thing. Is
never
like
gonna stop.
I only have so many social links. I just got my 5th party member. And
Is it a hot lady?
no, it's a guy.
Oh.
Yeah, he's a pretty cool persona though. He at first I thought he looked like Ichigo from Bleach, his like mask thing, but then it had like bunny ears or something. It was weird. Yeah, I don't know. It was weird.
What's his persona?
I forget his name. He has like a giant like opium pipe though. I swear that's what it was.
Instantly cooler.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting.
It's not just tobacco.
Yeah. But yeah, no. So I'm still loving it. It's just one of those things where it's like I sit down for 5 hours and I'm like, what did I just do?
Yeah.
Like all this time went by and I felt like I've done like 2 days in the game.
You've moved the progress bar forward by just a hair.
Yeah.
Just a hair.
And it's just lately I haven't been able to play games as much as I'd like, so it's like I just don't even feel like I'm making any progress. It just sucks because I like talk to other people in chat and they're like, oh yeah, I'm like 80 hours into the game.
That's why I'm
like, God damn.
That's why I'm gonna make, because like I feel like Prey is a game I can start and I can probably finish in
You keep saying that with more and more
reasonable
games keep coming out that's pushing other games out of your...
I can't think of it. Like I have my
Post
list.
Prey, there's not a whole lot. There's not a whole lot for a little while.
Are y'all going to play Injustice?
No.
Why not? Like, there's always a ton of really
I'm
cool
probably
single
gonna play
player content in
Injustice.
those games.
Crispy will.
I'm gonna play it.
I think I am too.
I didn't
Nice.
plan on it.
I mean, I'm
Let's fucking play
glad. I'm
it.
glad somebody's.
I'm gonna
play
get
some
my
stuff.
fucking Pocket Captain Cold ready. So.
We really do need to have games
play.
coming out so we can talk about them. We have a
Oh,
podcast.
they're out.
I mean,
Plus, y'all missed a bunch.
I'll play it before, like, if y'all want to do some pre-podcast Injustice, I'll school y'all in it if y'all want.
For sure.
Remember
For
that?
sure, Nolan.
Remember that fucking
You're just gonna
Flash
pick fucking
super
green arrow
move?
and shoot arrows
Hey,
at people.
you know, while we're chiming in on games that we've already talked about, I do want to just briefly mention I've been playing more Outlast 2. Like I mentioned earlier, two things. One, that game is just kind of too fucking intense at times. I actually had to decide to not play it because I was like, I don't think I can handle this right now.
I'm hearing some mixed things about that game.
Well, of course, you hear mixed things
I
about
mean,
every game.
I have it from GameFly, and I don't even.
I mean,
know
here's
if I
the
wanna play
thing.
it.
Here's the thing about Outlast 2. It is Outlast 1. If you did not love Outlast 1, I don't think this game has much new to offer you. It is right at home in the universe that was set up with Outlast 1.
Well, you know,
And-
I've always felt like if a horror game came out and it's even remotely like well put together,
I think
would
this
always
is
play it because that's what I do, right? I play spooky games
Okay.
on the feed, but I kind of I don't think anyone really cares anymore. I kind of don't want to play it.
Well, then
maybe
don't play
I just won't play.
I mean, I will tell you this. I think this is absolutely a well put together horror game.
I mean,
I loved Outlast 1, and this is just more Outlast 1 in a completely different setting, with maybe you getting chased more. Like I said, I played the other night. I played for 3 hours, and in 2 of those hours, I'm pretty sure I was being chased nonstop. And like
I saw that one highlight.
My heart was beating
that
out of my
highlight
chest.
of you crawling through the tunnel and you turned around and the guy was there, and
Yeah.
I was like, nope.
Yep, that happens a lot, and
Big
I
ol'
shit
nope.
you not. Like there was a sequence where I was running through it, I was freaking out, and every time I thought I was getting to I got to a part where I went through a door and locked it, and I was in a safe room, like. Two minutes later, I was being chased again by something else, and
Pass.
and it's just more and more of just like running down halls, not knowing where I'm going, and trying to make split-second decisions to survive. And the fact that most of the time I can pull it off and I can get away without dying is cool. But man, that game is fucking intense. I did break my chair that I've been sitting in for 10 years playing this game.
No.
I farted in that chair so many
Yeah,
times.
you did, and now it's broken. It's dead. Like it was one of those moments where I was like being chased, and I was like leaning forward in my chair, just like tense. And then something that popped out in front of me, and like I jumped backwards. And when I jumped backwards, the butterfly pieces that hold up the chair stabbed through the back of the chair.
Into your scapula? Or?
No, luckily not.
Okay.
Luckily not. But yeah, rest in peace, gaming chair. I've had that thing for 10 years.
So many good memories over the last
Yeah,
decade.
Outlast 2 is the one that did it in.
I lost my virginity. In that
people
game.
show
Unfortunately,
interest-
this chair didn't outlast the game.
I have the game. If people show interest in watching me play the game, then I'll play.
Everything
it.
I said last
Otherwise,
week still
I've
stands.
not heard much like, "Hey, Brad, you should play Outlast." So might not happen.
Oh, yeah.
Plus, I've
It is
been
what it
playing
is.
more near.
It is definitely what it is. Like, it's just, it's more Outlast. And if you didn't like, I know when Outlast 1 came out, you were kind of lukewarm on it.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's going to change much here. I think everything that was great about Outlast 1, I think is still kind of the same here, but everything that you didn't like about it is also still kind of
I
the same
was
here.
playing some more near though.
Yeah, how's that going?
Yeah, it's one that's hard to talk about. I need to finish it, Crispy. You need to finish it. We just got to have a
I
conversation.
need to start it.
Because at this point where I'm in the
That-
game, you can't really talk about anything.
Yeah.
But supposedly, I'm just a few more hours from
That
the end.
That is a good game to do a
The ninth
spoiler cast
ending?
on.
Yeah.
That would be a great game to have an unfiltered conversation about. Just putting that out there. We have a few of those planned out, by the way. Yeah, that's it for video games. But I feel like we would be remiss if we did not talk a little bit about our experience this past weekend.
Doing what?
Well, this past
Yeah, I
weekend
don't
was
remember.
April 29th, and we
29th.
we did a 12-hour D&D session.
That's more like 10 hours.
Well, yeah. We went live. We were live for 12 hours. We started
Yeah.
at 10.
It was like
ended
half
about
the
10
day.
o'clock.
Yeah.
But yeah, we didn't start actually playing the game until about noon, I think, on Saturday. But Crispy was our wonderful new dungeon master.
Yes.
And
I was pretty wonderful.
maybe I'll let
wasn't
you
I?
lead this conversation, perhaps. But yeah, this was my first time playing a serious game.
You
of
guys,
D&D.
I know what was going on.
Yeah.
I know everything, even stuff you guys didn't find.
Well, that's the point. Yeah.
What did you guys think?
Let me ask you,
Yeah.
how frustrating was it when we were kind of weren't like putting 2 and 2 together for some cool shit to happen?
That is every session I've ever run as a dungeon master. It's just like,
But you're kind of new to this.
it's trying to make some things be obvious without like hitting you over the head with it, but then like realizing that like, oh, I just have to hit them over the head with it.
I was thinking about it afterwards.
And then the other stuff, like there's definitely stuff that's just like peppered in just like for fun, like, oh, that's kind of cool. And like players, I'm not saying you guys necessarily did this, although you totally did. Players,
that room with everything covered in cloths. I was like, guys, stop pulling off cloths. This is not what we need to be doing. And
players
like, no,
latch on
cloths.
to
I
things.
just want cool shit to happen.
Like players latch on to things. Like they assume that, like, I mean, and I get it, because you don't know what the fuck is going on. You have no idea what's happening. All you see is, like, what I've put in front of you. And, like, the first thing that seems a little bit off, you guys are just like, this is the whole reason we're here. Like,
Yeah.
and it really isn't.
Crispy's like,
just like,
he's like, you enter a room, there's a harpsichord, a chest of drawers, and a chair, and there's a bed. What do you do?
And then
No,
we.
it's not like
No, I
that.
know that's
then
not
we
what he
all
does.
read-
and then,
and then we all play the
everybody, like,
harpsichord.
everyone's, like, cutting open the chair looking for a map or something. Like,
but I
the
mean,
chair!
like,
I think the chair's the
Let's be
secret.
honest. Like, I was thinking about it after the fact, and I was like, we should have just smashed those dolls. I bet that's what he wanted us to do, to like smash the
Wait,
dolls.
keep
You know
in mind
what?
this campaign is not done yet.
The
so.
campaign's not done yet, so I
Yeah.
can't really tell you.
Okay. Well, next time we play, let's smash those fucking dolls. Because I mean,
You guys
what's
have
the worst
thought
that can
about.
happen?
You guys have thought about those dolls way more than I have.
Well, I think it's also a situation where Crispy is like, oh, you see an orb, and I'm like, let me use my arcana. It's very evil. Carlos is like, I pick up the orb. Just motherfucker.
I feel like
pick it up.
Motherfucker.
There were definitely, especially like towards the end of the session when you guys were like in the dungeon just getting the shit kicked out of you, that like I was trying to run the game fairly, but also like make sure you understood that there were repercussions to your actions.
Yes.
And sometimes you guys either like didn't get it, or somebody like Carlos was just like,
I don't care.
Fuck it.
I gotta
Like,
be honest with you.
Someone like Carlos? No,
I
it's
think we were
Carlos.
kind of like kicking ass, man.
No, you guys were.
I didn't feel too
You
threatened
guys-
by what you were throwing at us.
You guys were doing great. You got a little scared about some stuff that you shouldn't necessarily have been scared about. Like I think there was when Nick walked into that hallway and a bunch of gas started coming out of the ground and started attacking you. You guys were all like, I felt the table turn on me a little bit. Like I
Well, it's
felt
because all of a
everybody was
sudden there
kind of
was
like
4 enemies.
was like, whoa, how does that happen? This is impossible. Like he checked for traps. That should be 100%. Like, and I had to explain to you like, no, listen, like,
Oh, the zombies coming out of the
yeah,
ground.
I was like, yeah,
Bullshit.
look, there really wasn't anything you could do about this. This encounter was going to happen, but for it having to happen, Nick being the one to trigger it was like the absolute best thing that could happen to you guys.
Because of my skill set.
Because you were the rogue and you were absolutely equipped to handle that situation.
Yes.
And it let you guys plan out and take that fight on your terms instead of everybody cramming into a little hallway and like somebody dying, you know?
Yeah.
So that was beautiful. That was great. I think it's difficult because the game is being run like the computer, quote unquote, is like your buddy who's also sitting at the table.
Yeah.
You know? So when something happens, you're kind of just like, fuck you. You know? Like, why are you doing this?
This is all your fault.
It's like, no. Just like, this is the game. Just
I thought you
just
were my
deal with
friend,
it.
Crispy. I thought
Like,
you were my friend.
Just deal with it, you know?
Why couldn't we make Carlos like a fucking barbarian or something? The idiot just running on. He's not the class that should be leading the way, man.
I do like how he volunteered to carry all of our clearly cursed objects.
He is particularly squishy though, so if anybody's gonna die, I mean, might as well be the warlock, right?
Playing with Carlos.
Can we get his character killed so he has to reroll a new character?
Playing with Carlos is an experience.
No, it's great. You guys, there wasn't a person at that table who I thought was not contributing to the experience.
Shitty bard.
Wonderful. The
Shitty bard.
He was trying.
He was struggling a little bit with
I
his
didn't say
contribution.
shitty bards don't try.
No. Don't be too difficult on Chris Davis because he's actually.
Who was healing us?
You healed us
fucking
once.
Heal.
You healed us once.
Yes.
He did.
There was one single heal.
You're a healer.
This is between you guys. This has nothing to do with me.
We need to rest. We need to long rest. God damn it!
You can't just
You
long
guys
rest
need to
whenever
get-
you want.
You guys need to get out of the
Actually,
dungeon
so-
before you can long
All right.
rest. I think there's a lot of great stuff coming up. Whenever we can finish this dungeon, it's gonna be so fucking cool. And I want everyone to remember that this encounter that we're doing isn't even like
The game.
isn't the game. Like this is just like the fucking tutorial. Like this is just like the little taste to get you into it. But like once you guys get done with this dungeon and you hit level 3, this whole thing's gonna open up even more. And the real joy of Dungeons and Dragons will come from the amalgamation of like moving between social encounters, exploration, and combat at a more like frequent pace.
Hey,
You know
don't
what
be
I mean?
pushy, bitch. We're gonna stay down there for hours looking at these dolls, whether
No, that's
you
great.
like it or not.
That's great. I want you to. I want you guys to.
Did we try to make the dolls kiss?
You know what?
Yeah, we did.
You know,
There is some stuff that you guys think is like the end all be all right now, which I'm telling you is not.
I know.
I'll tell you right now. I going into this.
What about those statues?
Yeah.
That turn?
Those statues are gonna kill you.
Did they ever do anything cool?
No.
Guys,
No, they didn't.
What, Nick?
I do want to say. So I really enjoyed our session on Saturday. In fact, but you know,
I was.
I was a little nervous going into this.
I know there was a lot of anxiety from everybody. Like it wasn't just you. Like I've heard it from other people in the group too, of not really knowing how this is going to work, how other people in the group are going to work together.
Yeah.
And just to clear the record right now, all 5 of you did great. Nobody at that table wasn't contributing in some way to the experience.
Yes.
Nobody was derailing. Nobody was what I would call a wang rod. I mean, Carlos kind of was, but he was in a very fun way that still, constituted
Carlos ejaculated into
the
a book.
game. Yeah, he did ejaculate into a possibly cursed book, but
Less into
but
and
it
more
was fun.
onto.
It was fun. It was great.
Is the book important?
That you're gonna have to wait and see. I mean, you did pull it out of a corpse that was your like perfect doppelganger.
But is that like, I don't find out what's going on there until like,
Level 12.
December of 2018?
I think you will find out more about that book as soon as you guys get out of this dungeon.
Will I have a child by the time I fill out?
If we get one more session before you have a child, you will have some more insight into.
Well, here's
that
the
book.
thing. Here's the thing. I think we need to have another session soon to finish off that campaign, and then have another full session sometime after that. Because
Finish
Agreed.
up that dungeon.
yeah, 'cause
Yeah.
we could finish that dungeon fairly quickly.
You guys can finish that dungeon.
You say that, but Carlos, again,
You where you guys are right now, it would take no more than an hour to really finish that whole encounter, and then we could actually get into something.
And damn, I'm looking
That
forward.
encounter.
I hope I
No,
think,
no, the dungeon.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
I
what
think people enjoyed it. I hope people enjoy our session because I think we're going to be doing more of these, and I'm looking forward to doing more of them. I was nervous going into it. I've never played Dungeons and Dragons in a real serious manner like this before, so it was nice. I'm looking forward to it. So Crispy, thank you for being our dungeon master.
Can we mulligan
Thank you.
on Chris Davis not specializing in performance?
Yeah, he's a bard that didn't specialize in performance. What the
He's
fuck?
not really a bard so
He
much as like a
didn't
guy with a
train.
lute.
He's just like a sucky thief, like a sucky rogue
who can play a little bit of the flute.
It's like he knows his 3rd grade recorder class songs, and that's about it.
a sucky rogue with a single healing spell.
You guys stop.
That's awesome. All right. So
He's a
we need to take a
tiefling.
break. We need
Yeah.
to take a break. When we come back, we have some news to discuss. We'll take some questions from our patrons, as we always do. So if you're watching us live, don't go anywhere. We'll be back in a moment. If you're listening to us, we will also return after this short break.
Josh Brolin's Thanos?
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's cool. Hey, welcome back, guys.
Welcome back to the show, everybody.
What does that mean to you, bro?
Josh Brolin, he was that dude from The Goonies.
You think it's cool
Thank
that
you.
Josh Brolin?
Thank you. That is what I know fucking Josh Brolin
You
from.
think it's gonna be cool
Goonies.
that Josh Brolin is gonna be on screen? Not that you think Josh Brolin is like the perfect
Yeah, who
actor to
gives
bring
a shit?
Thanos to life.
Josh Brolin is extremely talented.
He
and
is
very
pretty
He's
good.
a
watchable.
great actor. I
like
love
them
him.
in True
I
Grit.
think he's good casting for that too. But like you saying, like,
Wait,
he's
good
gonna be a great
casting
Thanos.
Him and
Old
Oldboy was kind of weird.
You don't know that.
Quit being a fucking snob.
You don't know that.
Quit being a fucking snob.
You don't fucking know.
I had his comic card.
Okay.
Josh Brolin's?
Yeah, I
Oh
wish.
my god, we're having a really in-depth discussion.
This fucking
discussion during the break.
Simpsons comic book guy over here. How dare you?
Don't.
How
do that.
dare you?
Don't.
You don't know Thanos like. I
Sorry,
know Thanos.
sorry that I have
I
passions about
felt
things.
I felt his hips.
No, but
Hips?
I don't know. You ask me for my opinion on this stuff, and then when I give it, you act like I'm being.
No,
a fucking
I
snob.
like your opinion, but when you say don't even talk about Thanos, you don't know what you're talking about, little man. That's rude.
You're right.
That ain't your opinion.
Okay, you know what? Fine, you're right. That was a little over the line, but you still don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Sorry, I can't be excited about Josh Brolin in a movie because I don't know what Thanos eats for breakfast.
What
does he?
Planets. Wait, no, that's Galactus. Fucking start.
All right, that was it. I'm keeping all of that in. That was great. Great Marvel bullshit discussion during the break. Kind of carried over into the opening the show. So enjoy. There's some news. There's some news to talk about. I'm just going to do kind of what I did last week. I'm going to let Chris Davis hit us with some news topics, and we're just going to talk about them. Darksiders 3 is a thing.
Ugh,
Who the hell saw this coming?
that's great.
I mean, honestly,
There's been some signs.
yeah.
There's been some
no,
signs.
no, yeah. I mean, when they were acquired by, or when THQ dissolved a few
Yes.
years back, and the license went to Nordic.
Yeah, Nordic,
Right.
yeah.
Weren't they like? They were pretty immediately like, hey,
Yeah.
it's coming back.
That was one of the
Well,
properties
it was more the people who were formerly Vigil kept trying to get together in studios to like suggest that, hey, maybe we want to do some Darksiders, and I mean
I still never thought we'd actually get a sequel, especially after the company dissolved. But like,
We got a
the more
sequel.
telling sign was that they released Darksiders 2 on the Wii U recently, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so weird.
They
It's-
re-released it on everything.
Yeah,
Yeah,
It
they
come
did.
to. Oh yeah, it was multi-platform, but it came to Wii U as well. So like they re-released Darksiders 1 and 2 as like a Masters Edition or whatever on PS4 and Xbox One, which is always a kind of a
The developer
indicator.
that made that remaster is doing Darksiders 3, and they're formed of people who formerly worked with Vigil.
yes.
But I mean, you
In
know,
fact,
that is not. You can't ever bank on that, you know.
Bank
Because-
on what?
You know, for years and years and years, I was hoping that Armature would create something that would be the next Metroid Prime because, hey, the leads from Metroid Prime left that studio to form a new studio.
Yeah.
And you know what? Recourse pretty cool, but it ain't fucking Metroid Prime.
Nope.
So just because there's some leads that used to work on Darksiders doesn't mean that this thing is going to be up to the quality of those games. I mean, that's the hope, right? I like both of the Darksiders games, but...
Yeah, I mean, there's also, like we talked
I don't
about
know.
earlier, variables, and like we don't know what the budget is in this game. We don't know what the scope is. We don't know what the concept. I mean, we know what the concept is at this point. So, what the big thing with Darksiders 3, you're playing as Fury, which is another one of the Horsemen of the Apocalypse. Just like first one you played as War, second one you played as Death. Now you play as Fury. It's a lady, which is cool. I'm always cool with that. I'm pleased that we're gonna playing as a lady. And you're on a quest to take down the physical manifestations of the 7 deadly sins who broke free of their cages or whatever when the apocalypse happened in the first one.
Yep.
Which sounds like some really cheesy, crazy, like to me, like comic booky kind of stuff. I was really into Darksiders 1 and 2. I thought it had a great
I was
vision.
really into 1.
You didn't like
2
2?
just didn't grab me.
Man, I like 2 a lot just because it was more open and
Diablo-y.
Yeah.
yeah.
They added a lot. They added a lot of loot, but I feel like it was less focused and a little bloated. But you know, I think the first game also had problems. I mean, I think both games have their strengths and weaknesses. I think when both of the games are at their best, that's when it's emulating Zelda. And like that first Darksiders has straight up like Zelda dungeons, and the second one
that was my favorite stuff about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And the second one has kind of that, but it's more spread out. It almost feels more like a Metroid-y type.
Yeah,
like there's puzzles here and there.
The one thing that always stands out to me about Darksiders 2 though was there was a sequence that was like straight out of Portal as well.
Oh yeah.
The thing is like Darksiders.
I don't know if I remember that.
Darksiders has always been considered as like a great, like a good to, if not great game that borrows elements from other games and kind of iterates on them and
it definitely,
pretty successfully.
while it does iterate on the elements of other games, it definitely has its own style and an aesthetic and story that's kind of can hold its own.
You don't remember the Portal sequence in Darksiders 2?
I'm trying to
like that was like the big deal when that game came out. I was like, oh my god, there's a fucking portal gun essentially in Darksiders 2.
I never finished that game.
Oh, well, that's probably why it happens towards the end.
Oh, towards the end?
I mean, not maybe. It's like maybe the last fourth of the game is where it happens, if I remember correctly. But yeah, there's totally a sequence that is like straight up.
I played a bunch of that. I remember enjoying it, but I got a little sick of it. It didn't have like the distinct. Like I feel like when you're doing a Zelda well, and it may seem a little cliche, but you need to have like a very distinct like areas. Zelda always has like the desert and the lake and the fiery mountain, and as cliche as it might be, like that goes a long way in making like creating like the space in your brain of how that world's connected and in distinct areas are different from one another. And Darksiders 2 just seemed like this all the way through. And
that makes a samey feel.
Yeah, it makes it seem a less memorable, even if that doesn't mean much artistically.
I do think the world, even though it was kind of consistent, the world, I know it's kind of divisive. I'm pretty sure it's divisive, but like the visual style of that game I thought was really cool.
It's a nice looking game.
I thought it was a really cool looking game. Like I mentioned earlier,
Death looked a little.
I really liked
Casey
the voice
Jones,
acting.
Edgy Casey
yeah, he
Jones.
did look like Casey Jones.
Yeah.
Edgy Casey Jones.
But I think what I like about the art style in that game is that it feels very like the way it's drawn is like very like I don't know why I think of like comics with like thick lines, you know what I'm talking about?
Thick biceps,
thick dicks.
like the way the characters are drawn, the world's like it's very thick lines, like thick pin marks and things like that. I don't know, it just feels like very just
thick.
Yeah. Thick with two C's.
Girthy.
When the first one came out, especially, it just smacked of
thick
of Blizzard character
Smacks you
design.
right on the forehead.
like World of Warcraft. They were
absolutely
chasing that.
And maybe that's kind of why I liked it because obviously I never played. I
kind of like action.
I didn't
figures.
let myself get into World of Warcraft, and I didn't want to get into World of Warcraft, but I always did like the way World of Warcraft looked. And maybe Darksiders was like kind of my way of experiencing that kind of art style, but in my type of game, I guess. But yeah, Darksiders 3 is a thing. It was leaked on Amazon earlier this week, and then like 2 hours later, we had a trailer, courtesy of IGN, and then they're doing all kinds of stuff about the game this month. So there's going to be more information dribbling out.
Freaking dribbling.
Dribbling. Dripping out? What do you want me?
It definitely looks
do you
like
feel?
something that was published by Image in the 90s.
We have talked about Darksiders 1 and 2. How do y'all feel about there being a third one?
I mean, I haven't seen enough to the art style doesn't have me.
This one is
excited.
supposed to be like. We obviously don't know the scope of this yet, but like they're talking about this being like a huge open world. Like I don't even know if I would consider Darksiders 2 like a
Make another Zelda
open
game.
world.
Yeah.
But what if this is like Breath of the Wild, but in a Darksiders? I mean, that's probably unrealistic. There's probably not going to be anything like Breath of the Wild for a while.
I would prefer them to do something a little bit more like that first game, because I know they're probably not going to have the budget and resources that they had to make those other games, because they're kind of a smaller indie studio now. And I mean, we'll see. I mean, the only thing that they've worked on outside of the remasters are some VR games, and I think at least one of them I know is fairly well received, I guess. But I mean, do they have the team to make a giant open world Breath of the Wild type game?
I don't know, but they seem to be going for it.
And there's some controversy about this character design because, and I tend to agree with some of them. She looks lame. She looks lame.
I mean, I feel like she looks like she fits in with the rest of the characters. If you didn't like the other characters, then it's understandable.
That was a stylistic choice, though, because they've all looked lame.
She looks like a different kind of lame, like a League of Legends reject.
Y'all are
lame.
going with the word lame.
Lame. She looks lame.
I don't think she looks lame. I think she looks like she fits in the universe that they. I mean, it's very, very super stylized, and it's going for cheesy. I mean, like, what's the word that y'all like to use that y'all always say? Man, I take offense to.
Cheesy?
Silly?
Is it cheesy?
Goofy?
Silly? Goofy? Yeah, whatever. Silly.
But like, it seems kind of.
Yeah, you don't like silly.
Yeah, but like
you don't
suddenly
like
I
the
think
word.
it's silly and y'all think it's lame. So it's, I'm getting
I know,
really
that's why I'm
confused.
so surprised.
I'm getting confused.
That's
What do
why
y'all
I'm so
want me to
surprised
feel?
that you're like feeling positive
mean-
about something that you think is silly.
I mean, I thought Darksiders 1 and 2 had a really
Wait,
good
which
style to them.
Well, I mean, sure, but it is a style that is different than this one. And say what you will
Well,
about
how is
it.
it different from this one? This
I
one.
mean, this one, I'm seeing like a splash screen of like a mobile game, and I see her on there advertising for like new packs on sale in the store. Like she just seems like an amateur designed this character. I really do feel like that. While those first two Darksiders were like, off-putting to some, but at least it seemed like it was a vision. Like, say what you will about Joe McFarlane. I mean, he definitely has...
Todd McFarlane?
Todd McFarlane. Joe Mad. Todd McFarlane. They definitely have their styles.
Was Todd McFarlane involved in...
No.
Continuity of style does not really mean good.
But that's what I'm trying to say. I'm saying this...
McFarlane style is bad.
No, I know, but that's what I'm trying to say. I didn't really like the designs of those first two games, but this one just seems like it's not even like an accomplished artist made this thing.
Oh,
It's
that's
just
brutal, Brett.
I know
Brad's being
it's
so
brutal. I
fucking
know it's
harsh.
fucking brutal, but I thought she looked really dumb.
She does look really
And the way
bad.
her hair moved seemed like
Dude,
I guess I see what they're going for.
Dude, I'm guessing
but it
right
seemed-
now that her hair is an actual weapon. Like, I'm guessing she's gonna
I
be like.
wouldn't be
what's
surprised.
It seems
the
very,
character from Mortal Kombat? Is it Selena? Serena?
Honestly,
I have no idea.
It kind of seems like
I know who you're talking
amateurs
about, but I don't
put that
Sindel.
in. Sindel, yeah.
She's like
It
Sindel.
kind of seems like amateurs put that entire cinematic together.
Well,
if
it might
I'm
have been
being
a scenario
completely
where it
fucking honest.
leaked and they were like, fuck, we got to put something out. And so they just threw that together with early game stuff. So
Yeah, but
I
it
would-
did leak.
I
So-
think-
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This was a trailer that
But
came
IGN
right
had this
after
like
a leak.
reveal. But IGN had
that's
this
true,
plan. This
yeah.
whole like they're doing a
I-
whole month worth of stuff. So
I
they've
just-
had this thing planned.
I just hope that this is following closer to like Darksiders 2, where you can get like loot and gear and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So maybe she'll look.
Well, I think
cooler
we're speculating
once you
too much,
dress
and we
her
should
up.
wait until we see
Would
more.
you like to know what Lemur
I'm
Dragon thought?
not speculating on what might be in the game. I'm just saying hopefully that's in the game so that she stops looking
Yeah,
dumb.
hopefully there's some cool masks.
I did want to share. So we
Like a
posted the
brown
trailer
paper
on the,
sack?
We did post the trailer for the game on 4playernetwork.com. If you want, if you have not seen it, you can check it out there. I did want to gauge what people think of new trailers and stuff as they're coming out. So I want to get in the habit of.
She seems like a bad guy on like a Saturday morning cartoon.
Okay.
Okay.
That's the vibe I get. Go ahead.
All right. So, anyways, as new trailers and stuff come out, I did want to give people an opportunity to chime in on them. So I wanted to read a thought here. This is from Lemur Dragon in response to the Darksiders 3 announcement and trailer. He says, I'm extremely glad Darksiders was rescued. The only main question is what this game becomes, as Darksiders 1 and 2 were very different games. I'm excited for this protagonist, but I'm worried about how she'll do. Death and War were both also very normal. He says normal/hammy. I don't know how that works because I feel like it's one or the other.
No, I think you can be hammy and normal at the same time. I mean,
Fair enough. But the writing took the salt out of them, and there was still some level of levity and witty dialogue occasionally, especially in Darksiders 2. Let's hope it's good, but we need gameplay first. What genre of game is this going to be? Hopefully not as big an open world as Darksiders 2. It got to be really exhausting.
I think honestly that's probably why I put down Darksiders 2. Was I was enjoying my time with it, but it was kind of like oh my god, there's so much, and I think other games had come out and I put it down, and I just never picked it back up.
It definitely was. It was a bigger game than I expected going into it. But for me, like I said, like with talking about the art style being divisive, like to me the art style, like seeing more of that world is kind of what kept me going through it. And then I hit that moment with the portal stuff, and I was like, wow, this is actually really unexpected and really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it got accused a lot of like borrowing stuff from other games, like pretty blatantly. But even when it did that stuff, I was like, it's doing that, very obviously doing that. But it's still pretty
But
good.
in the service of making like cool dungeons.
Yeah, like the dungeons are cool. So I don't think at the end of the day, I don't think it really matters all that much.
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know. It's going to be interesting. Maybe like I said, IGN is doing like a month-long worth of reveals and stuff for this game. So and I'm sure it's going to be at E3 or in some form or another. So by the end of June, we should have a lot more information about it. So maybe we'll even get some. It's looking like it's getting to a point where it's at least playable. So maybe it'll be playable at E3, so we can get our hands on it. In which case, we'll talk about it, of course.
Hands all over it.
So, what is the next news topic, Chris Davis? Oh, this is weird. Did y'all see this?
You've seen this? Heard about this?
Ubisoft is like teasing on social media something that is like basically they're teasing a game related to Far Cry 3.
Mm-hmm.
Like they posted a picture of like the island very clearly from Far Cry 3 with like a skull on it, and it's like the island we never truly left or something like that. But like we don't know what this is yet.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lost game.
Mobile game.
It's
Oh my god,
dude. Well, my guess is that it's this year's Far Cry game because you know we're gonna get one.
Right? Maybe you play as Voss.
It's been 2 years.
Voss, is that
yeah, Voss.
Maybe it's like a prequel.
Oh, what? That is not. I never thought
and you
about
play
that.
as Voss, and you like terrorize the people on the island.
I never thought about that. That's not a bad idea.
Yeah,
I'd play that.
I can make
It's
games.
not a good idea.
Hit me up, guys. Fuck you.
If you're gonna do something related to Far Cry 3, well, you're not gonna throw the protagonist from Far Cry 3 back in the mix because he was terrible.
Hitch. Like,
He was pretty bad.
why Far Cry 3?
I mean, maybe
why revisit that one?
I don't
if
know,
you're gonna revisit a Far Cry, which I don't think any of them deserve to be revisited from like a story standpoint, why 3?
yeah.
Why not?
Because
the only thing I can think of.
I would pick 4 over 3, really, if I was gonna do any of them.
Hit me up,
but
game
it's not like.
developers. We'll make some money.
But at the end of the day, I don't know if this is really going to be tying into the story. I mean, who knows?
Or they're teasing an HD re-release of 3, in which case, like, really,
why?
who cares?
I mean, I love both of those games, but I don't really know what to think of this because
Far Cry
honestly,
3D.
First of all, there's a couple thoughts. One,
Nolan Hedstrom at 4playernetwork.com.
Oh my God.
Hit me up.
Stop this. Stop this.
first of all,
Maybe it is a VR thing.
you know me.
Maybe Far Cry 3 in
I love
VR.
Far Cry as a franchise, but to me, like the appeal of that franchise is almost entirely based upon the fact that I know every single one is going to be different. It's going to be a different location, new set of characters, new setting, sometimes a completely different tone.
Yeah. I mean,
Like if we're gonna just rehash, if we're gonna go back to like Far Cry 3, I don't know what to think about it. Although there is also the thought maybe they're gonna do something similar to what they did with Blood Dragon. But that was tied to Far Cry 3. That was Far Cry 3
Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon.
What if this is Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon 2?
What if this is Far Cry 3
Then why would-
Skull Dragon?
That just reminded me. I watched Kung Fury this week.
What?
oh, jeez. Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah.
That's right.
Did you enjoy it?
Yeah.
Good. Moving on.
I don't know why no one told me about this.
Why
Anyway.
nobody told you about Kung
Man,
Fury?
we talked about it in Discord a lot, I think.
Oh.
Man,
Oh, I missed the boat.
Shy really was
Damn.
into it, I think.
Kung Fury represents something that I just really dislike.
That was
What's
pretty
that? Fun?
Yeah. I hate fun. I just hate fun.
fun. Anyways, Far Cry 3, whatever the fuck this is, I have no idea. I'm guessing there's an announcement coming. And we'll probably... I mean, it's been, 2 years since Far Cry 4? That seems like it's... I think it's right about time on Ubisoft's calendar for them to be like, oh, we got to deliver a Far Cry game.
We got an electric bill coming up. Better pump out a new Far Cry.
Well, no, we got Far Cry Primal last year, which I fucking loved
Nick
that
liked.
game. I loved that game. Loved it. But man, I don't know what to think about this. Again, different setting, different tone, different characters. I didn't want to go back. I've never thought to myself, man, I would love to go back to the island of Far Cry 3.
I think of course. I think every Far Cry game you've played has made it into your top
Yes.
3 games of that year.
No, not top 3.
Definitely top 10.
Top 10.
Well,
yeah.
no, top 10 for sure. But I'm
Absolutely.
saying they've all been high.
Far Cry Primal, if you watched my top 10 last year, was my number 9.
Oh, okay. Well, I said real Far Cry.
Far Cry Primal.
That
in the
is my
past.
favorite Far Cry
Maybe
game at
this one will
point.
be in the future. Future Cry 3.
But 2, 3,
Infamous
and
Nolan
4
on
were all
Twitter.
very
Hit me
Far
up. Let's
Cry.
make some games.
I do love me some Far Cry. I'm not ashamed to say that. I love that franchise. I love that game. But man, if they start to repeat and if they start repeating settings and characters,
Did you ever
I'm
play
like,
the
I'm not
first?
really gonna be into.
They
Yeah, I
al-
tried playing Far Cry 2. Was it Far Cry?
repeated
No,
same.
I don't know. Sorry, I love Far Cry 2. That's the one set in Africa. Far Cry 1. I tried playing. What was the one where you had like weird powers?
Far Cry Primal.
Blood Dragon?
No.
You could turn into an
like,
eagle.
This is pre Far
Instinct.
Cry 3 or
You know
Far
what you
Cry
should
2
do?
even. This was
You should
Far Cry
play
Instincts.
Yes,
the
I
original
tried that one. No.
Far Cry on PC. It's
thing
one of
is-
your favorite franchises. You owe it.
No, I don't. I mean, I tried. This is one of those scenarios where it's like at some point they found a new formula. They tried something new with the franchise that worked for it, but like anything like going back and trying to play it before that is just like, ugh.
But it's a bad console port. You know, I think you play the
Maybe.
original on PC, you'll have a good time.
Maybe I'll do that. But let's just one thing at a time, guys. I want to know what the fuck this is because I do love Far Cry and I do care about this franchise. So I want to know what the fuck this is because I'm a little worried. I was hoping if we were going to get a Far Cry game this year, it'd be something totally new. I don't know about this. Let's go back to the island of Far Cry 3 because who wants that? Who does?
Nobody.
Not me.
Not high.
They could come up with something crazy and wacky and it could be cool. I don't know, but I don't want a straight up sequel to. It's not like Liberty City or something where it's like there's
An iconic location,
landmarks that you're like, oh, I
It's
remember
just
that.
it's just an island with trees and
Yeah, I
animals.
don't remember the layout of Far Cry 3's island. I forgot that like a day after I stopped playing that game because it's a fucking island full of trees.
What about that woman that you fucked?
Oh yeah, she was cool. Maybe you get to play as her.
There are
You want to get fucked by a dude?
there are boobs in Far.
Hey, why does it have to be a dude?
Because that's who fucks her, a dude.
Can I play as a wingsuit?
Maybe she's bisexual.
Yeah, so we'll find
All right,
out more
let's move
about
on
that
from
soon, I'm
this
sure.
topic.
Is there any other news topics this week?
I'll say
we wanted
this:
to cover?
the highest rated Far Cry is still the original Far Cry on PC.
Damn! Now you gotta
shit.
play it. You look so stupid.
No, I think they're wrong.
No, it's true.
No, I mean,
With
You
some-
can't say that, Nick. You've never played it.
I'm just fucking kidding, but like, I don't really have any desire to go back and play Far Cry 1.
Nick doesn't want to play the best Far Cry ever.
I don't.
That's true.
But I'm not saying I wouldn't. I'm just saying I'm not like dying to
That's
go
a
back
far
and play
cry
Far
from a
1.
smart decision, Nick.
Fucking A, you and your
stop
puns.
You can't stop.
stopped.
Can't stop, won't stop.
Oh my god. Can we move on? I think that's all the news we have this week. So let's talk about let's do Patreon community. That's you, Nolan.
Let's talk about the community.
I'm handing it over to you.
Take off your
Okay,
pants.
that's good. That's
All
good.
right. All right. So we have 2 new patrons this week, Nick.
Wonderful.
2 new patrons.
I'm not gonna fight you on it.
All right, good. Jumpsuke and Cobra.
Jumpsuke?
Yeah,
Cobra.
Jumpsuke.
Cobra.
All right.
Cobra's an active member in our Discord. What is it? Jumpsuke?
Jumpsuke.
Jumpsuke should be as well.
Yeah.
I'm looking at you, Jumpsuke.
All right. So we do have quite a few questions from patrons this week.
Wonderful.
Let's just jump right into them.
By the way, that's patreon.com/4player.
That is it.
Sorry.
Or 4player.com/Patreon.
Or 4playernetwork.com/Patreon. That works too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Good
lots-
call. Good call.
Lots of different ways. Become a patron. Nick the Batman asks, "What is the saddest you've ever been over a party member in a game dying?"
Oh, I was like, I thought the question was going to end at, "What's the saddest you've ever been?" Like, oh,
Saddest you've ever been.
over a party member.
Heart Gremio.
Well, I don't want to. Like I did mention this on episode 500. Final Fantasy X did. I did shed some tears with Final Fantasy X.
Oh, my best.
I don't want to really go into specifics because that's pretty spoilery. But yeah, I did shed some tears for Final Fantasy X. What else?
And
I mean-
in the original
Eris.
Suikoden, your childhood. He wasn't your childhood friend. He was sort of like a kind of like a butler who's kind of took care of you your entire life. And you're fighting alongside him, and there's this one part where you invade like the castle of like a general who specializes in like he's very like extravagant, and he has like flowers and stuff everywhere, but he also has like killer plants. And there's this part where he releases like flesh-eating spores, and to like save your group, Gremio, he locks himself in the room, so that the others could get away, and like this spores totally like eat his flesh, and you go back into the room and there's just like his clothes on the floor, and the main character just kind of kneels down like, oh my god.
And he takes his clothes.
But if you get all 108 stars of destiny, you can bring him back to life. But it was a really sad scene.
That's cool.
Yeah. And most people don't get 108 stars of destiny without a guide, so most people he just stays dead. For most people, he just stays dead.
This question is making me realize how few RPGs outside of Final Fantasy that I've
And
actually
never. The
played.
question wasn't about RPGs.
But it's a party member, and that's kind of. I mean, I guess the question could be elaborated to just like video game character in general.
Yeah.
Back in the day, Knights of the Old Republic, playing a Darkside run, first time through. At the end of the game, like a lot of your party like isn't cool with you being Darkside, so you end up like having to kill them.
Ooh.
Like they fight, they turn on you, and like there's a fight between. I guess it's okay to say, right? That game's old as fuck.
Wait, which
It's
game were we
old as
talking about?
fuck.
I was reading chat.
Knights of the Old Republic.
KOTOR,
yeah.
Yeah, you have to fight.
You're Darth Rev.
You have to fight Mission Veo and and the Wookiee.
That is still that
No
is
one does that. Who does that?
Dude, I mean, I didn't know at the time, and then it just started happening, and I was like, no, I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
That
I'm
is an
sorry.
example. That is an example of a game that I know the twist and everything, and I know a lot about
Right.
how the game plays, but I
the
still
time.
want to go back and like I only played about half of it, so I still want to go back and actually experience it.
Oh, that and Morden come up, man. I mean, he wasn't really a party member at the time, but like,
I feel
I'm
like there
having
was a
trouble like thinking of like I
Morden.
can think of several games where like a character in the game dies, but it's not like a party member.
Yeah.
I mean, Final Fantasy X does have that a little bit.
I feel like there was a major character that died in Legend of Dragoon, but I can't. I don't feel like it's a good answer for this question because I can't remember who it was.
That says a lot.
No, I mean I haven't played that game in.
All right, we need to move on.
Lavitz died.
What about Tella?
Did
Tella
Lavitz?
dies, and then he doesn't really die, and then he dies like for real, and it's like.
All right, next question
Wait, can anyone
from
in chat confirm for me?
Zerby.
Did Lavitz die?
Looking back at all the
Someone tell
E3,
You're just making
all
up
of E3,
words.
some of my personal favorite announcements and trailers are those that actually show a game and not a concept.
Yeah.
CGI looks nice, but it's also so vague on what it really is in the game. Do you think devs should, and this is like a question we've gone over so many times, do you think devs should not show cinematic trailers anymore? Should they be gameplay? Should they actually be more than 5 minutes of cut up portions and so okay, well,
I mean,
these are all games that have so much show and then maintain high blah 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 blah. Why can't this always be the case all the time? Blah blah blah.
Oh my God.
It's a really long. It's a really long question.
I mean,
which it boils down to CGI or gameplay.
I mean, here's the thing: if it,
No one likes CGI.
That's debatable.
I mean, here's
no one
like,
prefers.
I
it
was
to
not like
gameplay.
nobody.
No one prefers it to gameplay.
Well, sure, no one prefers it, but like one of my most fond memories of E3 was when they announced Mirror's Edge Catalyst, and like.
But that was all in engine. Wait, Mirror's Edge Catalyst?
No.
Yeah. The first stuff they showed of that game was Faith. That was in engine.
okay,
In,
but
in fact, the original Mirror's Edge was also in engine when they first showed it.
It was.
I think that series has always been in engine.
Well, it's because they don't have the fucking cutscenes or like the Esurance ones in the first game, and in the second game are pretty much in engine.
Krispy.
being a conscious consumer of games, I do like to see gameplay as soon as possible so I can start forming an opinion about whether or not it's worth my time and money. But that being said, some of my fondest memories of like game announcements were just cinematic trailers, and it's not as true nowadays as it used to be back then. But the cool thing about cinematic trailers back in the day was that they gave you a more detailed look at like the character and the worlds that you were playing in that like the game couldn't. So, for instance, one of my absolute favorites to this day was the announcement trailer for StarCraft 2. Okay? Now, StarCraft 2 trailer was fucking dope. It was so fucking cool because it was all just Tychus like being fucking welded into a suit of Space Marine armor.
Yeah.
Right? And that shit was so cool. I loved Space Marines. I thought they were so fucking cool. I love the armor. That shit was great. And that trailer was like so fucking detailed. Like I bet it still looks good today. And that was That was over 10 years ago, I think.
Yeah.
That shit was so fucking legit, and you just didn't get to see pieces of that world in such detail so close up, like playing StarCraft and StarCraft Brood War, you know?
Can I say this? Cinematic trailers are fine. Don't do them first.
Sure.
An announcement of a game is a very exciting thing. When they do it first, it's like, oh, okay. Well, I guess in a fucking 5 months we'll finally get to see what this game actually is.
So you're not excited for Last of Us 2? Well, they showed us a cinematic trailer.
That was an incredible trailer.
It depends on the game, I think. So the problem is, there's certain games, like Zelda. The first thing we saw of Zelda, Breath of the Wild, was a cinematic trailer. I think it depends on the game. There are times when a cinematic trailer can give you a good vision of what the atmosphere of a game is going to be. I understand wanting to see gameplay so you kind of understand what the game actually will entail, but I think it is possible to have a cinematic trailer that gives you a good representation of the game that can still leave you satisfied.
But here's the common thread.
The Last of Us is cinematic.
But here's the common thread. And this is not true. This can't be 100% true, I'm sure. But I feel like cinematic trailers work most of the time when they are announcing a sequel that people want, that they know they want. Because
you know what people got excited for? Dead Island. Had a fucking bitchin' cinematic trailer.
Also, you know what people didn't get excited for? Darksiders 3.
But every trailer we just talked about that was like super impressive, that was completely cinematic at the point of it, which it was revealed, was a sequel. Mm-hmm. And at that point, people just know they want more of that universe. They want another game in it. So like a cinematic trailer is just confirming to them they're going to get that. Mm-hmm. And that in and of itself is exciting. Like if I go to E3 and I see a cinematic trailer for fucking Dead Space 4 or whatever, I'm going to be like, sweet, confirmation. I'm getting a Dead Space 4. That's coming. That in and of itself is exciting. But like if you were to announce a new IP with just a cinematic trailer, it's harder to get excited about it because you don't know what the hell it is.
I don't get as excited because it makes it seem like this project is just getting started, and that's like, man.
Well, a lot of times,
remember the Cyberpunk cinematic trailer?
Yeah.
Oh my god, that was how long ago?
Yeah, but you know what? At the time, it was pretty fucking exciting, wasn't it?
And you know what's extra special, shitty about that? They just outsource it. Like the actual team probably doesn't even touch that fucking thing. And it's like, what is this even a project yet?
Dude, perfect example of that, like the outsourcing, is when BioWare was doing Star Wars The Old Republic, and they had Blur Studios do like 4 cinematics for them.
Which were amazing.
To this day, I still see those fucking cinematics pop up on Reddit and Imager all the time, and people are like, oh my god, this is so fucking great. And nobody plays the fucking game anymore. That game was
all right,
shit.
let's move on. Next, we have several more questions. Next question from Nexus. Mm-hmm. Given the significance of brand mascots for Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo in the previous console generations, who are your personal picks to serve the current faces for the big 3?
Oh dear.
Well, shit. I guess you got Nathan Drake maybe for Sony.
I mean,
Sony
right?
He's done.
No, Aloy.
Aloy's
pretty good.
I don't think she's a mascot for the console.
She's too serious to be a mascot.
Dude, before Nathan Drake, sure, but I feel like Kratos is probably a more recognizable.
But see, the
mascot.
problem with Kratos
and that
is
guy is serious as fuck.
No one likes Kratos though. That's why he's never been a suitable mascot.
But they've been using him as a mascot kind of off and on for a while.
Sony definitely goes for something different, and that's kind of like Sony goes for more of a vibe than a mascot, and sometimes it involves like their characters, but it's usually a collection of their characters.
They usually seem to go for collections,
drinking martinis or whatever. It's not. Microsoft has the Master Chief, or
I was gonna say like a toilet
or like a bicep.
Overflowing with poop.
That's fucked up, Noah.
And you have just like an Xbox One hanging out of the pile of poop.
The space armored muscle.
I mean, Nintendo's still going to be Mario. I don't think they're ever going to
I don't think you can. I don't think there's no franchise that could successfully uproot Mario as a mascot. I think
Bloodborne guy.
I mean,
Pikachu.
I mean, maybe like Mario, like riding Pikachu.
Yeah.
Pikachu's too small, I guess.
I mean, I think the question is. I think in a lot of ways they've already answered that question. I mean, Master Chief for Microsoft, Mario for Nintendo.
But no one cares about Halo anymore. I mean,
that's not entirely true.
No, but they're gonna put more Master Chief in Halo 6, so it's
Which
okay.
is hey, but like
man.
I've said this before, but like one of my favorite moments of the year when Halo 4 came out, like I didn't even like Halo 1 through 3 that much. But like I got fucking chills when I started playing Halo 4. Like I don't even know why. Like, I didn't even care that much about Master Chief, but they did like there's something about the way they did the beginning of Halo 4 that got me really excited, and I was suddenly like, I think I like Halo now. This is weird. Is what's happening to me? Like
What's happening to my body?
it's kind of
places I didn't have fur before.
it's a strange feeling, but you know, I like Master Chief.
You know who the mascots for the big publishers are? The fucking execs, man. Like Reggie's just as much of a mascot as fucking Mario, and then you got Phil Spencer lying over at Microsoft.
Phil Spencer.
And Sony has
a stream of shit flowing out of his
these
mouth.
days, but back when they had Kaz Hirai, he was like
Kaz Hirai, was a
it's all
big
about
deal,
execs and memes these days.
I don't know, Andrew House has become kind of big for Sony.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway,
he had a special thank you to him in the credits for Horizon.
Oh yeah. Moving on. Arxidus X. What are your 3 favorite colors?
Blue.
What?
That's one color.
Wait, we each have to pick. Oh, well, I guess that makes.
No one has a favorite color.
No, I'm not gonna name
I do.
3.
Such a silly thing.
My favorite color is blue.
Yeah,
My
mine too,
next
'cause
favorite
that's-
color is green. My third favorite color is
Yellow?
Yellow.
You seem like a yellow kind of guy.
I like blue.
Black
And then I
like my
like
soul.
purple.
Supposed to be.
I like purple because it's close to blue. And
I like black, gray, and blue.
probably black.
Black like your soul.
Yeah.
That's what I just said.
Blue like my heart.
Blue like your soul.
Blue like your balls.
Blue.
Blue like my balls.
Blue like my balls.
Gray like your.
Blue
Gray
like
like
your
my
brain
lungs.
because it's lacking oxygen.
I don't know. Blue. Like blue, orange, and red, maybe?
Orange.
What a random question.
You're a
Hey,
random question.
This is what they get for supporting us on Patreon. They can ask
next
us
question
anything,
from
and we will
Cobra.
answer it.
What was everyone's first job?
My first job was I worked at Office Depot.
The depot.
That was
I worked
your
at the
first
office.
job?
That was my first job. I got hired at
Were you like a bag boy? What did you do at
How
Office
old were you?
Depot?
I got hired-
Count paper?
Hired at Office Depot.
I got hired at Office Depot the same day, like an hour after I got hired at Hollywood Video. Then I had to call Hollywood Video back and tell them that
Funny,
I got,
Hollywood Video was my
Were you
first
in
job.
high school?
Dude, I would have taken Hollywood Video.
I did Hollywood Video.
remember how old
I
it
got
was. I mean, I
the,
worked there for a
my
while.
junior summer of high school, like summer of my junior year is when I got a job at Hollywood Video.
I mean, does it count if I
Didn't get
worked
paid?
at the company that my dad was working at?
if that was your first job.
I mean, were you getting paid
Yeah.
on a payroll, not like off the books?
Nepotism
payroll.
counts.
Okay, well then, yeah, that was your first job.
Yeah, I make catalogs. I put together catalogs for the company
For like wood? What for?
for like the salesman to give out to I guess
Were
For
they
like wrapping
clients.
paper?
Like what kind of products were in these catalogs?
Dildos?
like valves and stuff.
Okay, valves.
man.
And actuators.
Well, I mean, I guess you're around the Houston area, so it was like an oil and gas type thing. Yeah.
They're, I mean, I couldn't describe what they were selling, but it was like to oil companies and stuff. Machinery.
Yeah.
And then I worked at Dairy Queen when I was 16.
I worked with my buddy at his dad's stucco business
Oh, yeah,
during
remember
the
you told me
summer
about this.
over when I was in high school, and that was the worst.
Mm-hmm.
That was the worst. Both of my large toenails fell off.
Oh, god damn it!
Just
It was bad.
randomly?
No,
or
no,
just
like
Can we
the-
move on?
Like the work boots,
Please?
the work boots like ruined my feet, and like
I think your boots are too small.
I think they were, but the big toenails like they both turned black.
stucco them back on?
No, I didn't. But over the summer they went from just like turning black to just like kind of falling off.
Did you
And
put
then
them under
they-
your pillow?
They fell off completely.
Remember that commercial
They came off like in a
where the
four
little
piece.
fungus guy lifts up the
No!
fucking
That's what
toenail?
it was. That's what it fucking was. It was horrible.
Oh god, we've got to move on.
Hey,
Just
what's
some, like,
going on in here?
Some
No!
super glue.
Stop it.
It was bad.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, I can't watch anything with nails.
It hurt.
Oh my god.
Oh god.
Adam Raponi asked a weird Phantom Dusk re-release question that I don't really understand.
Oh, we're gonna get to that
yeah.
in my 4-player minute.
We'll just talk about it then.
Well, what's the question?
It's a long ass question, but at the end of it, well, by what metric does Microsoft think it will be successful in selling consoles or raising the overall brand?
By what metric?
By this,
if it's about
Phantom Dust.
In other words, I read that question. He's basically really confused as to what the fuck Microsoft thinks they're doing.
Oh,
yeah, that's been a question in everyone's mind for the past like 4 years.
Phantom Dust?
He's using Phantom Dust as an example, and he's just saying he's like, by what metric do they think they're going to be successful with the decisions they're making?
Not successful. They're saving face. We'll talk about it.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in the 4-player minute. Or Brad will.
All right, SMG asks, after the D&D session last week, who do you think is going to be the first to die, and who will be the MVP of the group? Carlos is definitely going to be the first to die.
Yeah.
MVP, shitty bard. He's going to show us all.
He's going to play that one song and rescue us from the dragon.
I feel like rogues seem a little overpowered with their little extra action they can do.
Oh, don't worry.
So,
I mean, their
Nick's
extra
gonna get us out of
action
a
is
lot
like
of-
run away.
You're damn right.
Yeah, but that can go a lot into like tactics. Play a lot into tactics.
Damn right, I'm going to save your ass.
I didn't say save.
Don't
save
worry.
my ass.
He's always going to be squishy though.
In the butt.
Yeah. Sure.
All right, final question of the week.
Dude, you got
Final question
The mages
from Prince of the Universe. #1 game soundtrack of the year so far. Go!
Nier
okay.
Automata,
I'm
I
stuck
guess,
between
yeah.
two. Persona 5 and Hollow Knight. Both excellent soundtracks.
Oh my god.
Nier Automata.
I haven't played
Especially
it yet,
all the
so.
stuff they do with the hacking is so fucking smart. It's dope as hell.
You know, I'm tempted to say...
I don't know.
I'm tempted to say...
You don't like Nier all that much?
Nothing. None of the soundtracks from any of the games I've played this year have really.
I think Horizon
Grab
is a
me.
really striking soundtrack.
Boo!
I don't know if
I'm
it's
just
like...
kidding. I haven't played it.
I don't know if it's like soundtrack of the year material, but it was pretty striking.
Y'all
I
have
did-
clearly
I
not
did
played
like
Hollow
it.
Knight.
There's
Persona
stuff
5
in Nier,
enough.
like the Village song. I kind of like. I like it, but it's not like I don't know.
If you
There's
wanna-
something about the
If you want
soundtrack.
to
affecting
talk
me.
about soundtracks that like...
I kind of like the Persona 5 like victory theme. That was pretty good. The that's
pretty good.
That was pretty cool.
I do want to mention Gravity Rush 2. I think that had a pretty great soundtrack.
You bitches need to play some Hollow Knight.
I'm
Rush did
waiting
have
for
a
my
good
Switch
soundtrack.
version, man. I'm holding out for the Switch version.
It is cool that they have like the 8 and 16-bit versions of like a lot of the songs when you're hacking.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
that
that
shit is
stuff's
cool.
really
but the
cool.
songs themselves, like
You should listen to the
I haven't
soundtrack
quite
outside the game.
maybe.
You could listen to the 8-bit soundtrack like on its own, and it's really great.
yeah.
All right, well, that's all the questions tonight. Every week we post a thread on our Patreon page where any patron is able to ask us any question they want.
Even what our favorite colors are.
And
and
you
we'll
saw there was a
answer it.
pretty wide range of questions this week. So we post that every week. Be sure to hop in there and ask us a question.
Yeah, we love answering questions.
Speaking of music, did the music suck and Prey, Crispy?
I kind of liked it. I was kind of into it so far. It is very like kind of like 80s. Like I saw people like calling it Prey Wave or whatever. Like it's kind of like in your face.
Yeah.
But I kind of like it. I don't know. Maybe I'm weird.
Well, that was never a question.
We'll find out.
Yeah, you're sure.
Because we're going to talk more about that game next week. So we'll talk about soundtrack. So let's go ahead and wrap up the show. 4-player minute time. We're going to say
4-player minute.
hype, sweat, fuck
Nope.
you, thank you.
I got 4 fuck yous.
Okay, wonderful.
Fuck you number 1. I'm gonna go to Namco for still not. I mean, Tekken's out like in a month, and still no Julia Chang. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. What are you doing to me? Fuck me for purchasing 2 Bayonetta amiibos or pre-ordering 2 Bayonetta amiibos. Because why? I mean, come on, man. What are we at? Like $30 now? That can go towards like something actually cool. Amiibos aren't that cool, but they're
Wait,
Bayonetta.
$15 on me? Didn't you pre-order them for like $12?
I said $30.
Oh, okay.
$30.
Well, 12 and 12 is not 30.
Well, I mean, once you're paying tax and I gotta drive to the fucking Best Buy, it's 30 fucking bucks I'm spending on amiibos, man.
Okay.
And I don't know, man. I don't know. Put the Bayonetta. I got to, right?
Yeah.
Fuck you to Mercury Steam. Just randomly out of the blue, I hear their new game is going into like beta. You know, Maybe I'll try to track down a code. Fuck me for not letting it go. But fuck you, Mercury Steam. They killed Castlevania. They fucking killed Castlevania.
Did they now?
Faster than Konami could kill it, they killed Castlevania. Fuck you, you dumbass pieces of shit.
Wow.
Wait, what?
I hope your new game bombs, and I hope that you get shut down, but I hope all the people who work there find new, better paying jobs afterwards.
Wow, that's brutal.
No. Like I said,
Vindictive even.
I wish the people well. Maybe they can go into things like sales or retail. I'm just kidding.
Damn. Are we going to talk about the Castlevania poster?
And my final fuck you goes to Microsoft. I listened to a 20-minute interview with some footage of the new Phantom Dust, which is, get this, not even a remaster. They're not even bothering.
Really?
They refuse to call it a remaster because they're not doing anything to the assets. I listened to the interviews like, we went back and we realized that the assets for the original Xbox game Phantom Dust were just really good. They look really good still. So, like, you know.
Oh, those fucks.
They're not even a fucking remaster. They're, like, not doing shit to this game except microtransactions. They're charging for packs of skills. They're charging you for the ability to unlock all your skills. They're making this game untouched. There's some technical stuff they have to fuck with. Only because the final source code they couldn't fucking find or whatever. But what I'm saying is they're not touching the actual game in terms of they remastered Voodoo Vince. They can't even remaster fucking Phantom Dust. And I'll say this. There are some very small things that they could have done to that campaign to make it way more playable and friendly. Like, the biggest flaw with the Phantom Dust single-player campaign is you never knew which character in that fucking underground base had your next mission. And you had to wander around and around and talk to every single NPC until you're like, finally, this guy has my next fucking mission, and then you can go do it. All they had to do as a part of this port, that's all this is, a fucking port, is put a little like notification on who had the next mission, maybe a little waypoint, maybe something on your little mini map or whatever. But no, they're not gonna fuck with that because that would require time and money. This is Microsoft saving face after canceling the real Phantom Dust Sound project, and they didn't want to spend a penny on this except inserting microtransactions in the hope that this project that cost them nothing will make them a little bit of money. Fuck you, Microsoft. I'm going to play that game because I respect and love Phantom Dust and the original team that put that together, and Yukio Futatsugi, but you can suck my dick.
Man, Brad's angry this week.
This week?
I mean, I'm always angry about that topic.
As I was reading a thing online, it was just a screenshot of, like, you know, a Microsoft pop-up on Windows 10.
Notice Chris Davis says there's more to it than what Brad's saying. You know, I've jokingly called him an X-Bot before, but he has there's no foot in the Phantom Dust race for Chris Davis. Only the Microsoft angle. So it's interesting that he even brings it up.
Oh, God.
Yeah, let's go back to what I was saying. That there was a screenshot of like a Microsoft 10 update, and it was like, "Hey, would you recommend Microsoft 10 to a friend?" And they were like, "No." And it was like, "Why did you answer no?" It's like, because people don't talk about operating systems with each other. That's not normal day conversation. Hey, you should really check out Windows 10. It's a really good operating system. All right. Anyway, my 4-player minute starts now. A couple of hypes. Hype 1, Prey. I am pretty excited about that. I want to play it, and I'm going to pray it, and it's going to be good. Another hype. Guardians of the Galaxy 2. I enjoyed the first one. I'm excited. Bernard and I are going to go see it this weekend. With our opposite schedules, we don't often get to go see movies, so I'm pretty excited about that.
You a popcorn guy, Nolan?
It depends.
You let's swing by the CVS and pick up a bunch of Sour Patch kind of guy?
Not usually. It depends. It depends on if I'm going to like a Cinemark or an Alamo. Like if I go to an Alamo, I try and go for brunch because they have this really good fried egg BLT. Oh, Oh God, it's
Yeah,
so
I've had
good.
it.
It is so good.
Yeah.
I that's why if I ever go to Alamo, I try to go before 2 p.m. So I can get that fried egg BLT. But then if I go to like a Cinemark, then sometimes I'll get because I have like the coupons and stuff, so I'll try and get like
I like popcorn.
some popcorn or something
But
like that.
Popcorn's
I don't do
classic.
popcorn as much since I started going to the Alamo because I
don't like
usually
their
go in the
popcorn.
evening, so I end up getting something
Dinner. Yeah, actual
but like
food.
for me, like popcorn is like a really it's part of the experience.
It's
of watching a
satisfying.
movie.
It's that you get that nice salty with a little bit of cheese on it, and then it pairs so well with like something sweet too. Like it just goes
we
well
did get
together.
popcorn when we watched Rogue One.
Dude,
Yeah.
popcorn
That was the last one
Popcorn's the best.
Yeah.
Classic. You can't beat it.
All right, Sweat, Darksiders 3. Like I don't know what to think about that. Like I'm kind of like I want it to be good, but it's just not enough knowledge. I guess I don't know.
Not much to think because cinematic trailer.
Yeah, that's true. And the fuck you goes to myself. For the past like 2 weeks, like a lot of my gaming time has been spent on like YouTube holes, just because, yeah, like I'll be like, oh, I'm gonna play games tonight, and then I go home and I check my email, and I'm like, oh, what's this YouTube video? And then all of a sudden it's 11:30 at night, and I'm like, God damn it. So yeah, fuck you to myself for that.
All right.
It's so easy though.
It is.
Just keep clicking.
It's so easy. Yeah, it's because related video. Click. Oh, that one looks interesting too. Click. Oh, that one looks interesting too. And the thing is, I'm watching them all at 1.5 speed.
Really?
Yes.
Oh my God, you're a monster.
Hey, I don't go 2.0. I don't go 2.0. That's way too
Are they like
fast.
Oh, that's
non-fiction? Like, are you learning how to do stuff with these videos?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Are you
well,
retaining any of it?
most of it.
Or are you just pushing it out with the next video that comes out?
That might be true. But the problem is, like, there's this one YouTube channel I watch, and I've watched every single video at 1.5, and then I tried to watch something on my phone because you can't do increased speed on your
does it
phone,
sound so
and I'm like,
slow?
he's talking so slow. Why? He sounds like he's like has like a mental issue like thing in this episode because he's talking like this. Because I always watch him at 1.5.
That's
All right,
horrible.
anyway.
Monster.
Yeah.
That's horrible. My hype this week is for Prey, which I will be playing directly following this podcast. So stick around if you want to see some more of Prey. My sweat this week isn't so much a time-related sweat as it is there's a lot of good stuff coming out that is just getting swept under the rug.
Yeah.
That is like not getting any sort of attention whatsoever just because there's too many big high-profile games coming out that are just kind of overshadowing them.
I'm telling you right now, we're gonna have like a lull of like a month or so.
Brad was showing me the Sexy Brutale before, which I hadn't even heard about. Like I knew nothing about it, and it looks fucking great. And it's just something that's getting swept under the rug. Static, the game that I was really high on at PAX South, just came out. I completely
That's the
forgot
VR
about that. The VR game.
That's
Yeah.
that's the same team that also made Little Nightmares.
Little Nightmares, yeah. I'm probably going to use the VR headset to play Static next week at some point. I don't know if I'm going to stream it, but I'll definitely play it and talk about it on the podcast.
There's enough cool, like, Portal-y type stuff that might make it streamable.
Maybe.
Now that I think
I mean,
about
it is a fun looking, like, it's an interesting looking game.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of stuff going on there. Hopefully I have,
A lot of opportunities for chatters to go, oh, I see it.
yeah, hopefully I'll have my internet working by that point. Sweat. My thank you goes to all of you in the room here, Chris Davis, Carlos included, and all of you at home who joined us April 29th for D&D Day. That was a lot of fun. It turned out better than I expected, and I can't wait to do it again. And my fuck you for this week goes to Time Warner Cable, now known as Spectrum. I don't think I really have to elaborate on why, but I'll go ahead and elaborate on why. Because I can't get fucking internet because nothing works. Because they send me a modem, they ship it to me FedEx, it gets stolen from my front door, and then they're like, oh, well, you could just go down to the place and pick one up. And I'm like, I could have fucking done that 3 days ago. So I go down and I pick one up, I bring it home, I hook it up, and it doesn't fucking work. Although I don't know if it's the modem or my connection on the wall. I call them and they're like, okay, well, we'll send a technician out. First, this was a couple days ago, I called and they're like, first available is going to be Friday morning. Like, oh my God, fuck you. I just want internet. That shouldn't be this hard in 2017, but it is. I'm sorry. Had to get that out of my system. Nick?
Understandable. My hype this week also goes to Prey. Comes out tomorrow, officially. I'm very, very excited. Also, because, like I said, I was kind of waiting to play some of the other big games because I feel like this is the next one I want to focus on. So it's, I don't know. I love Arcane. I love Dishonored. And I love all those games we mentioned that seem like they're being a pretty heavy influence on the game. So
maybe I shouldn't have given Prey a hype. Maybe I should have given it a sweat because it's going to give me like a fucking prop hunt itch.
Oh, that's definitely possible.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it'll also scratch that itch.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe. Just maybe not in the multiplayer sense.
Yeah.
My sweat also, like Nolan mentioned, Darksiders 3. I, too, really want this game to be good. I definitely get... I may not be quite as negative on it as some people seem to be about the character design and the trailer or whatever, but, like, there was definitely... It looks like... I feel like in the back of my mind when I was watching this, it does feel like there's something about it that seems a little bit like a step down.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not quite sure if I can that is yet. And I'm hoping that's just maybe it's early, or maybe the stuff they've shown isn't the greatest. I really am excited and worried maybe to see like the first in-depth look at what that game is and what it's structured like and how it plays, which I'm sure is probably going to be E3. My fuck you of the week goes to EA because this will be like the third or fourth E3 where I've gone in like fingers crossed for a sequel to Dead Space, and I'm just at this point I'm like I don't think it's gonna happen, and I'm just gonna give them a preemptive fuck you for not announcing Dead Space 4 at E3. It's like they forgot about like Dead Space was a very successful franchise for them at least at the start with Dead Space 1 and 2, and if they can make time and money to make a sequel to Mirror's Edge, I feel like there's really no excuse for them to not bring Dead Space back to the forefront. That was a big franchise for them.
Yeah.
So,
it's true.
Preemptive fuck you to EA. Hopefully you prove me wrong. And my thank you this week, aside from Krispy for being a wonderful DM during our D&D session, which I'm also very excited for the next session.
Thank you.
On a video game related note, I'm going to give thanks to Night Dive Studios for making one of my favorite games as a child playable for me again. Turok 2, still playing that. I've finished 3 of the 6 levels so far. I'm working my way through the 4th level. Inadvertently played the level 4 before level 3 because you can do that in that game. As long as you find the right keys, you can unlock level 4 before going into 3, which was cool. And I'm still enjoying the hell out of that game. The PC port plays really, really nice. So thank you for making that game playable again. And that's our show.
Yeah.
That's it this week, guys. Thanks for tuning in to watch us live on Twitch, twitch.tv/4Player Podcast. Of course, thank you for listening at home. Again, we did switch to, we are trying something new, as I mentioned at the beginning of the show, where we switched to Blog Talk Radio as our hosting platform. So if you want, you can look us up on blogtalkradio.com/4Player Podcast. If you want to learn more about that, there's also a post up on the site that kind of goes into more detail as to what the service does and why we're doing it and that kind of thing. We're just trying it out right now. We're going to see how we like it, but for the next couple months. And Discord. We mentioned Discord a few times. If you're not, please feel free to join our community Discord. It's discord.gg/4player or /4player.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Discord.gg/4player. It's free, and we'd love to have you in there. Yeah, that's it. Stay tuned after the show. Krispy's going to be playing some Prey, and I'm sure you'll see more of that on the feed throughout the week. And we'll see you next Thursday night at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time for the next episode. Good night.